works. You shouldn't block or ban somebody because you don't agree with what they have to say. I've had that happen to me on a number of MAGA lives. So I just want to point that out. Don't ever think that only Democrats believe in cancel culture or censorship. It happens from both sides of the aisle. Anyhow, folks, welcome to the program. We are now live. It is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Going to be asking you folks a few questions. We got a few topics. As you know, I was not on over the weekend. And I do welcome you all, you folks coming back as people began filtering in. But just because you're not on doesn't mean Trump and the administration is not making news. And there's no shortage of shit that came in over the weekend. So we're going to talk about. I got actually 4 different things we're going to run by you today, but nevertheless, we'll get into it. First of all, we're in the government shutdown has continued the whole time, and now as of I don't know, we're not quite number one, still the second longest shutdown in history, but I think 35 days is the longest. So we're coming close to surpassing that, making it the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But Speaker Mike Johnson, I want you to hear what he had to say, because make no mistake about it, the Republicans are indeed blaming the Democrats for it. And I guess we're going to talk about it from an aspect of whose fault do you believe it is that the government continues to remain shut down? Now, we know the federal employees are not getting paid, but it's about to soon start happening to the really poor people, the folks who are receiving SNAP benefits and things like that. So it's going to get worse as of November 1. So it's about to get worse.
I spoke with the president at length before he left on this trip to the Middle East, and he and I are both so frustrated. The Democrats are perfectly happy to do all this damage while they play political stunts. We can hardly believe that they're willing to go along with this on the gambit and the false narrative that they've created. And so again, Republicans are voting and advocating for an open government, and Democrats are doing the opposite. They are the ones keeping the government closed and bringing an end to these services and personnel and policies. That's just a simple fact.
Now, he continued on to say it's simple math. We don't have the ability to do it without the Democrats. Now, this is Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. I want to ask you folks, now he's making it clear that the Democrats are responsible for the shutdown, according to Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. I want to ask is, if you need the Democrats, do you see Mike Johnson and the Republicans, if they need the Democrats, actually trying to work with the Democrats to get this done? Because if you need the other side to work with you to achieve a goal, then you have to reach out to the other side to do it. I want to find out from you folks, do you see any effort of that? Because I mean, obviously, President Trump is just continuing to criticize the left. If you need the left to work with you to get the government back up and running, is it possible, remotely possible, that maybe you can insult your way to glory? I'll just continue to insult the hell out of the Democrats until they wake up and finally start working with us. Is that maybe the approach that President Trump is taking? So we're going to talk about that. I want to get from you folks, do you think that the Trump administration is making a solid effort to get the Democrats to work with them? I mean, because at the end of the day, that's the only way the country is going to be up and running again, is both sides are going to have to work together. I'm having some computer problems as always. Anyway, so that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. This next one, some might find this next one to be, for lack of a better term, somewhat comical, but I'm going to run it by you anyway, because that's what we do. I want to ask you folks, is this something that interests you? I'm going to say it like that. Is this something that might interest you?
In your eye on politics, former Vice President Kamala Harris hinting she may run for president again. In an interview with the BBC, Ms. Harris said, quote, "I am not done. Ms. Harris also expressed confidence that America will see a woman in the Oval Office in the future. While Kamala Harris said she has not made a final decision, she says she still views herself as an active player in politics.
Kamala Harris 2028. Is that something that interests you? Do you think she would even have a chance? Do you think she should run again? Do you think she should run for any office? Kamala Harris 2028. Now, she was asked about this, and her response was she is not done. So, I mean, it is what it is, but she is indicating that she's not done politically. Now, that could mean anything. That could really mean anything. It could mean senator. It could mean, well, she's been a senator already, so I don't think she'd run again, but damn near, who knows? But she did indicate that she is not done. And wow, H2O. Thank you. Thank you very much. Help start your boy out right. I appreciate that. Thank you, H2O. But continuing on, I see in the comments, 0 chance Trump attempts running a third term. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes more jokes about it. Kamala for president is funnier, though, says Jeremiah Brown. So Jeremiah is saying there is 0 chance that President Trump runs for a third term. However, the notion that Kamala Harris might run is actually funnier. So I don't know what. Once again, goddamn, I hate when this thing is doing that. But I mean, you guys have heard Steve Bannon, right? And as much as I want to bring that clip to you, I can't do anything because the computer's playing all sorts of games. I've been wanting to fix this thing, but there must be something on my computer that's making it just incredibly slow all of a sudden out of nowhere. But Steve Bannon is indicating, despite some folks that are saying it's a joke, Steve Bannon is not saying that Trump 2028 is a joke. Why is that? If it's a joke, and by the way, when you see Steve Bannon talking about it, you have to ask, does he look like he's laughing?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him.
An instrument of divine will. I'd be curious to know what the hell does that mean? President Trump is an instrument of divine will. Can somebody in the comments let me know, what do you think Steve Bannon means when he suggests that President Trump is an instrument of divine will?
Particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through, Zanny, and define all those terms.
But you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it.
If the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up? Would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
So they're arguing back and forth, but Steve Bannon is adamant that Trump's going to run for a third term. Now, one of my guests stated that Trump is just going to continue joking about running. And I guess I'll ask you folks, when you see the video of Steve Bannon there, did it come across as if Steve Bannon was telling some sort of joke? Did you view what Steve Bannon said as a joke there? Did he look like he was making an attempt at comedy? Because this is what folks are suggesting, that Trump is joking about running again. By the way, President Trump, while on Air Force One, was asked about this over the weekend.
In a recent interview that the committee plans for you to be able to run and potentially win a third term in 2028? Is that something you'd be willing to challenge for?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know. We have one of them standing right here. We have JD, obviously, the vice president is great. I think Marco's great. I think, I'm not sure if anybody would run against those. I think if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable. I really do. I believe that. I would love to do it. I had my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I had my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people.
Now, he just stated he would love to do it. Now, she asked, are you ruling it out? He didn't say no. So he didn't say no, he's ruling it out. In fact, he made it clear he would love to do it. So what do you think? Now, and once again, for my viewer that stated that Trump will joke about it, did he look like he was telling a joke?
Scene is truly the end of the Democratic Party as we've known it.
I just want to.
The candidate that they have endorsed, Mamdani, he sympathized with Hamas.
Does it look like he was joking there? So last but not least, with the computer playing games, I want to ask this question. When Trump ran, he talked about America.
A laughing stock.
Here you go.
An absolute laughing stock, but we're not a laughing stock any longer. And, I was talking to, as I said, President Putin for 2.5 hours. That was being very seriously listened to. And we don't like what's happening. We don't like that we should have ever been involved. Would have never happened. But we're respected again as a country.
And the question I want to ask, last question before we get into the box and into the comments. Do you believe now that President Trump is our commander-in-chief, almost a year in, he's, 3/4 of a year. He's been president almost about 9 months. Let's just be accurate, about 9 months. Do you feel that America is now more respected? Because a lot of folks suggested, particularly MAGA, many on the right suggested that under Biden, under the Democrats, America was the laughing stock of the world and people did not respect this great nation. But President Trump is stating that under Trump, we're no longer the laughing stock and we are respected worldwide. I do want to ask you folks, how do you feel about that? But of course, the predominant topic today is going to be what President Trump and Steve Bannon are saying. Do you believe President Trump will seek a third term, as in Trump 2028, or better yet, rewriting of the current rules? So you guys know how the program is ran. As always, we are, always will be, MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone on this program. Never have, never will. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. Everybody gets to speak. You can be critical of anybody on this damn program, including yours truly. Anybody in the comments, even me. That's how free speech works. That's how it always will work here. All your political views here are welcome. So looking in the comments, come on, man. Biden did everything right. 2028 for Trump is a no-go. Wait a minute. Elliot, I believe that says in the comments, you said Biden did everything right? You got to be kidding me, right? You really look at the Biden presidency and walk away thinking he did everything, quote unquote, everything right? Wow. Anyhow, continuing on. Yes, other countries have never respected us more, says, I think this is Feeding and Creations. You believe other countries have never respected America more? I certainly want to get someone on that can have that similar opinion so we can certainly have a conversation about that. That opens up the door for a hell of a lot of pushback, just like suggesting that Biden did everything right. Do you want my honest opinion? Bro, we want nothing else. That's all we want is your honest opinion. Going straight to the box, we'll go to Stick Narula. Good evening, Stick. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Just starting it out right off the bat, coming out the gate. Trump 2028, is that a real possibility?
With the current administration / the current Supreme Court / the current Congress, yes, it is. It definitely is. I've been in lives, and somebody stated that we have a set of rules and definitely the Constitution that we're supposed to follow by. But if everybody is in sync, willing to look the other way or not enforce the Constitution, then this is what it is.
Let me ask this way. Does the Democrats have anybody to put up of interest to maybe thwart this?
It shouldn't have to be do the Democrats.
I agree. But if the Democrats look like they're leading the country towards the garbage can, people may say, fuck it, I'd be willing to bend the law and give Trump a third term.
Well, I'm going to go with the temperature in the room. The temperature in the room says Gavin Newsom and Miss Crockett.
Gavin Newsom with Jasmine Crockett as a running mate?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Jasmine Crockett for VP, huh? You think the country is ready for that? I mean, she's pretty black.
Yeah, regardless of what MAGA say, so was Miss Harris. So again, we don't care about what white folks say about black folks.
Yeah,
right?
but Stig, white folks represent most of the voters in the country.
All hail Gavin Newsom. Hey, look, being real. That's why Joe Biden got in there. I'm just gonna be real with you. That's the main reason Joe Biden got.
Wait. You elaborate. Explain it. What do you mean?
Okay, so if you got Joe Biden and Donald Trump, both have been called prejudiced and or racist. You already got both checks out the way for the white folks.
Okay.
And then on top of that second check, he is white. Donald Trump is white. So again, Gavin Newsom, white. They're gonna vote for him. It is what it is.
You think they're gonna vote for Gavin Newsom? His policies be damn just solely because he's white?
Yes. And he can have, just like Joe Biden, he can have a black vice president, female vice president.
I don't know, Stick. I don't know. I think you might be going off the deep end with this. I think the policies do.
Okay, so,
let me ask it to you this way.
So
go ahead.
So what I want you to do before you ask me this question, what I want you to do is go back to the 2020 election, right? Or the 2020 election, and then I want you to look on the Democratic side, and you tell me who was going to do it.
In the 2020 election, Biden, this is after Trump did his first term, and they had like 20 some odd Democrats running. Hillary didn't run, but you had Christine Gillibrand and Andrew, what is the guy's, not Andrew Tate. Is the name, what is the Asian dude? I can't remember what his name is, but he ran, the guy talking about, do you like math? There was Elizabeth Warren ran, Bernie Sanders ran.
I didn't ask you.
You said who could do it? What are you talking about?
No, who was going to do it? And it always comes back to the older white male. Period.
There were plenty of. Bernie Sanders is an old white man.
No. They don't want Bernie because Bernie is too close to socialism/communism. They wanted somebody that was known to be racist. And I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying Joe Biden is. What I'm telling you is that's in their mind, the white T mind. Joe Biden was racist. So guess what?
You think
he's
so?
going to keep whoever he picks as a vice president, especially a black woman, at bay.
You think in You think in the year 2020, after Biden had served 8 years as Obama's vice president and actually picked a black woman as his running mate, you think white people saw him running in 2020 as a racist guy?
I think that the racist folks seen him as just being white. Remember, they're inherently racist anyway. That's how they look at each other anyway. We're all inherently racist. Now, they will never tell you or me that. But just like we look at another brother and another brother look at you and then y'all nod heads, that's what they do too.
Is it not possible, Stick, that people just voted because of the policies and the agenda of the candidates? Are you sure that race had this much at stake in this?
Listen, race had everything to do with it. That's why Kamala lost. Think about it.
You know, Gangsta Grandma's going to tear me apart, but I think Kamala Harris was a bad candidate. I've said that many times. And thank you. Hang on one second. And by the way, Stephen B, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Handsome Liberal on all the platforms. So that's how you call in. Go ahead, Stick.
No, yeah, I'm finna tear your ass apart. I need you to stop saying that bullshit, man.
She was a bad candidate.
She was the most. She was the most qualified. No. She was only a bad candidate for the timing. The timing, 100 days. If you want to say she was a bad candidate because of the timing, that's fine. But she had every qualification to become the president. She had already been the vice president. Mm-hmm. She was already a senator. She was already over in California in the legislative branch and the judicial branch. So at the end of the day, again, we had it all lined up to where she was built to win. Okay. And she was winning before Trump came along and said she wasn't black.
Okay, I think you got, when I say she's a bad candidate and you counter where she was the most qualified, understand there is a difference between having the qualifications and being a good candidate. As a candidate, your job is to sell yourself to the American people. There are people who can sell ice to an Eskimo, even though they don't need it. So what I'm saying is being a good salesperson and being a good candidate or a good salesperson versus having the qualifications are not necessarily the same thing. You can be highly qualified to do something and be a terrible salesperson. I'm saying that compared to Trump, Kamala Harris is not a decent salesperson. She's not a good candidate. She might, listen, I'm not arguing about the qualifications. She climbed up the ladder. If you look at her resume, she looks like someone that is on course to become president. She became an attorney general, what was she, a district attorney, then an attorney general, then a senator, then a vice president. Now she's running for president. She's clearly on course to do that. I'm not arguing with the qualifications necessarily. I'm saying she was a bad candidate. She was not good at selling herself. She didn't come across as authentic, which is why I believe more blacks voted for Joe Biden than they did Kamala Harris.
No, that's not how it went.
Okay.
It's like this. Again, even with the Joe Biden thing, like you just said, even black men will look up to a white T-man before they look
What? What? Really?
Yeah. I mean, let's keep it real. We've been voting since my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and everybody else since the conception of this country. Once they got their rights to vote, all they had in front of them was white men. So again, you got to pick and sort through the white men, especially the black.
So you're saying even black men would look up to a white guy more than Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom is a shoe-in. I'm telling you. And then on top of that, he willing to go low. He bump all that. I mean, I love Michelle Obama to death. I really do. But all that going high shit, he ain't on that. You want to go low? I'm going to go lower. Matter of fact, I'm going to hurt you and I'm going to make your own people laugh at your dumb ass.
Well, let me just say this. And I see in the comments, R. Wagner 932 on Instagram says, if we keep being racist, nothing will ever change. So he's suggesting that even the African-American community need to get up off of this race stuff. But this goes to what I'm telling you, Stick, is that she was. Hold on, hang on. I'll let you respond. Hang on, I'll let you respond. But this goes to the point I'm making that she was a bad candidate, not able to sell herself. If you can't even sell yourself to black men over somebody like Trump, with what the black community says about Trump, what does that say about her as a salesperson?
I'm going to say it again. Our minds are already set. That's why I said Gavin Newsom first and then said Jasmine Crockett. You missing it, Tim.
I get that.
A white man in this day and this era has to lead the way. Right now, MAGA is only upset because their alternative was a black woman. If you have a black woman first, black males, Latino males, white males, any other males are going to vote for the white T man if that's on the other ticket. Period.
I gotta disagree with you. I think MAGA did not want Kamala Harris because of the policies that the liberals were promoting. I mean, listen, I'm not going to argue that race. You know, there are some people in this country that won't elect a person of color, do not favor a woman. I'm not arguing with that, but I think it's a larger majority that did not like the left-wing policies that they were being told about. Everything. Now, I'm not saying everything that they heard was true, like defund the police or the liberals want LGBTQ and everything that comes up. But people did believe that. They believe that's the left-wing ideology. So even if it was a man, they probably was going to run away from that stuff.
This is the thing. People are believing that this is a democratic shutdown too, right? Ain't people saying it's a democratic?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, but it's not. And again, Republicans have all three branches of government. They're right leaning. So I just really don't want to hear what's obvious.
Well, let's be clear. The Democrats do play a little bit of it.
She was a bad candidate and all of that stuff. If you really looked in deep and actually did your research and you didn't listen to Trump, you did your own research, you come to find out, I hate to say I told you so. That's what happened.
But that is why I keep saying
everything that she said.
Go ahead.
Everything that she said came true. So again, not a bad candidate. She actually was an oracle. She told you the damn future.
No, that's why I keep saying this woman. That's why I keep saying this woman is a bad candidate, because you shouldn't listen. People don't do their research. I get that you should. I don't disagree with you there, but that's what makes Trump a great salesman. You don't have to do your research. He gives you something to go on. Do your research is not a good campaign platform.
He don't. Tim, see, Tim, this is why gangster grandma be going off on your ass, man. You need to stop doing that, man.
I'm just telling you.
Lies. Listen. I know a lot of hosts that say they're not mad at MAGA because they have been lied to, right?
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. That Trump tells lies. Okay.
Okay, so you have MAGA that have been lied to and believe the lies. Then you have MAGA that will put themselves in a pretzel to defend Trump no matter what. You got people that will get on here and say, President Trump, anything you want me to do, I'll do it for you.
Yeah. But here's where this would make you would have a stronger point if it wasn't coming from the Biden administration, who told folks for his entire administration that he was not on a health decline. So you can't talk about the right lying about Trump when the Democrats are trying to say that Biden could do another 4 years.
Is Biden still alive?
He's part of the reason why. Yeah, he's alive. He's not dead. But would you?
Okay, so if he lives 4 years, he could have did it.
No.
If Reagan can be up there and have Nancy Reagan doing his shit for him, so can Biden.
Okay, well let me
be honest with you. I'd rather have somebody that is sick and using his actual people that know what the fuck they're doing to, in the sense in every aspect of running the country, including the generals, including anything economic, including anything health-wise, everything. He has fucked up everything. We got RFK. Motherfucker can't even speak good over health. What the fuck is going on?
Well,
then in his first term, he put a fucking neurosurgeon in HUD over housing. Like this stupid motherfucker put a major over the Department of Defense. Now, no more new wars, but all of a sudden, now it's the Department of War. Like, make it make sense, Tim.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you, but
that's what it is.
Yeah, but everybody didn't know that in 2024 this time last year they was going to go that direction. All I'm simply saying is that
hate to say I told you so.
I'm just simply saying the Kamala Harris administration was still telling us this time last year that Biden was healthy and all of that. So I'm going to say that hurt. That hurt them. I'll give you the last word. I got to move it on, but
I'm gonna be honest with you, Tim.
Go ahead.
It didn't. Only thing it hurt was that finally, the right finally felt they had a lie, right? They finally felt they had a lie, even though Donald Trump had told 33,000 lies in his first term. And I don't know what we're on right now. We're probably on 100, 120, probably more than that. I don't know, but we're on more than that. Trust me. But the whole point I'm trying to make is, again, they came in biased. They came in already looking at Kamala Harris as, I don't want her in office. And it was, going again by people.
She didn't help it. She did not help it. I gotta move on, but even if what you're saying is true, they came in not liking her. I'm just gonna say she did not help her cause. She didn't come across as authentic enough to even get an increase in black votes. I gotta move it on. What were you saying?
I'll tell you, last thing. I'll tell you this. One lie against how many troops we got, tariffs, the border, how they're gonna handle immigration, just tariffs again. Like, how many things has she told you that was gonna happen has happened?
I'll give you that. She said quite a bit. She definitely has earned the rank of I told you so. Stick, I gotta move it on.
Yep. All right, man. All right, Tim.
Appreciate you coming through. Thank you. By the way, folks, tap the screen. I haven't solicited that whatsoever. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 10,000. We can certainly make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Of course, we are. We shall remain MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body. Tim, don't like hearing the truth, says Poe Bill. Poe Bill, you got to let me know what truth I don't like to hear. State it in the comments. I'll gladly read it, but let me know what truth I don't like to hear. And you still say Trump supporters, not dumb and stupid. Is that what you're trying to tell me? That you believe Trump supporters are dumb and stupid? Kamala was a pretty good candidate, in my opinion. A smart, college-educated woman with compassion for her country. Just didn't have the time and media apparatus united to thwart the Democrats. James Scott, I don't totally disagree with that. I think the biggest issue with Kamala Harris is she didn't have the time. And I don't believe that her hesitating to do interviews and things like that, hesitating to go in zones that were not necessarily friendly to her, I don't think that helped her. Trump would criticize CNN during his first term, but still go into CNN and do interviews and shit like that. I don't think Kamala Harris being hesitant, not going on some of the male platforms like Joe Rogan and stuff like that, because that's what really hurt her significantly, is lack of male support. Black women in general, were far more favorable to her. She did terrible with males, particularly white males, but I believe that she should have went and got her message out a little bit more. That's why I'm saying she was not a good candidate. And of course, I'm going to add on that Biden refusing to step down after that horrible June 27th debate. He didn't step down till August. So he continued maintaining throughout July that he was capable of running for a second term as more and more Democrats, more and more donors started to jump off the Democrat train. So he really shortened the amount of time Kamala Harris had down to 107 days. So Biden is partially responsible for that as well. That's my humble opinion. Anyway, going back to the comments, Kamala acted, she was too good for all that. I don't get what you mean by that, Bruce. Tap the screen, get us on up to 10,000. I'll take the next caller. 100% Nakamoto's been saying that shit since it happened. What do you mean by that? Black people sat this one out. And Trump won the Hispanic Latino vote. I think that's somewhat close to accurate, Teddy Owens, that a significant amount of African Americans sat this one out, and a lot of Hispanics went over towards Trump. And I believe, based on my personal opinion and analysis, both of those groups are not very happy right now. I don't think that the Black community nor the Hispanic community is very happy, but I do agree with you that the Blacks sat it out and Hispanics went for President Trump. Now, I don't totally take away from what my last caller said about particularly, I'll go with the misogyny over the racism to start out with, is because I do believe when it comes to the Hispanic community, it was less about racism and more about misogyny. A lot of folks don't believe a woman should have that position. A lot of folks believe in the hierarchy, male over female. And Christianity, all of that stuff says the man should be head of household and things like that. A lot of people still believe that. Let me go back to the box. We'll go. You guys tapping the screen. Get your boy up to 10,000. A lot of lazy fingers in here. We'll go over to Instagram if we have to. Established in 1957. Is that what that says? We'll try to see if we can bring them up. Don't know what that is. Okay, well, perhaps that guest did not come up, so we'll go back to the program. How the hell do you have a primary and just throw Kamala up there and tell Joe to go sit down crazy? That's the problem, is Joe didn't sit down soon enough. That's the problem. That's partially why the Democrats lost, is Joe Biden should have been a transitional president and gave Kamala, or better yet, the Democrats plenty of time to select somebody that would have been more viable. That's how I feel. And by the way, Kamala Harris, even though I don't feel she was necessarily a good candidate, I think more time she could have became better. 107 days is not long to run against a guy that's been running for by 2020, he had been running for like 5 years. Mike, good evening.
Quit talking.
Don't be any gangster grandma.
Fucking raccoon.
What?
Bald-headed ass motherfucker, you. How many damn times do I fucking forget? You always forget where the fuck you came from. Are you drinking that much protein that you forget that you're a black man again?
What does this got to do with? Wait.
What the fuck is it with you?
I don't.
You have white pussy in your fucking dreams or something that you have to degrade a black fucking woman? How dare you? I swear to God, I will go through the fucking phone and I will yank your black ass up and ding you on your fucking head.
I
wish I was on there now. I was like, come on, Timmy. Let's go for
appreciate it, Mike.
Fuck out.
Hold on. You're telling me that I'm denigrating a black woman by simply saying she was a bad candidate?
She's not a bad candidate.
She was a
you
bad
know who
candidate.
the bad candidate is? The fucking dumb fuck that's in office right now. That's starving people next month of shit.
When you look at when you look at the fact that President Trump from his first term till 2024 increased the amount of support he had from both the Hispanic and black community, I would argue that he was a good. Wait a minute. His support from the Hispanics and blacks increased. I would argue with you that he was a good candidate. What say you?
I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. That's what I want to do.
Why I gotta get beaten?
You fucking ass ninja. What the fuck's wrong with you?
But I'm going by the numbers, gangster.
Coconut head.
Gangster. I'm going by the numbers. I'm going by the
Let me tell
numbers.
you something. It was bad. It was 20% of the black fucking men that doesn't know well. Oh God! Let me tell you something about the little black maggots. All they didn't want her in office because she's a strong black woman, and they didn't want to be ruled by a fucking black woman. They're chauvinistic fucking pigs. That's what they was. They'd rather have a white man fuck them up the ass without a fucking lube than to have a black woman that will help their asses. That's what the truth is. Then you have the Hispanics, the fucking Cubans, the white ones, and the Venezuelans that's getting fucking deported right now. The ones that wanted the damn dictatorship, that's all they fucking know, kissed an ass.
Maybe
So don't ever get that shit twisted. Because a lot of us are Afro-Latinos and black women, we voted for her because she was the most educated. How dare you?
I'm not commenting on her education, gangster grandma. I'm simply saying she was not a good candidate in selling herself.
Yes, she fucking was.
No, she wasn't.
You're not a fucking good black man. You a sellout.
What the hell does this got to do with me selling out, saying the woman was a bad
You're
candidate?
selling out because you're gonna say she's not a good candidate. You know what? You give the fucking maggots more shit to talk about.
This ain't that.
Oh, she's not a good candidate. Let me tell you something. I'd rather have her. And you know what? Right now, I bet you the motherfuckers are. I bet you anything the motherfuckers are missing her and Biden. I guarantee they're missing them.
Wait, hold on.
Next month, the maggots are going to go hungry. And you know what? I don't give two fucks. Do you know who I fucking feel bad for? It's the blue dots in the red states that are gonna go fucking hungry. And all the blues that did not vote for this bullshit. And the whoever didn't vote, I feel bad for them. But the maggots, they deserve everything they fucking get. I don't give a fuck.
Listen, I don't look. I don't. I agree with you to that last part. If you voted for Trump and this is happening to you, hey, you brought it on yourself. But I disagree with you in the notion that this woman was not a bad candidate. This woman was a bad candidate.
You know what, Timmy Chich? I'm gonna be up there for 2 weeks because my best friend's going through some shit. I'm gonna be up there for 2 weeks, and I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna get you, Tim.
Why I gotta get hurt?
Knock you upside your fucking head.
Why you gotta want to hurt the host? If I think that the woman did
Because
not,
you're acting like a fucking. You know what? You're acting like a fucking house ninja. You're acting like a blackhead. That you're over here saying that, oh no, she's bad candidate. You're giving her more fucking ammunition to go against us. She's not a bad fucking
she's
candidate.
how am I giving anyone ammunition? She's not running again. I don't think. Even though
She's like she said she ain't done yet.
you think she should run again?
I hope she does. I really do. 'Cause you know what? The motherfuckers that said that she wasn't black enough, I bet the bitches will do it now. I bet the bitches will do it now. Because I'm so sick of the motherfuckers that said she wasn't black enough and the woman is fucking black. Because they're fucking uneducated motherfuckers on both fucking damn sides. And then you had the motherfuckers on the other side. Oh, she's not black. She's an Indian. And oh no, she's going to tear up this whole goddamn, the whole fucking United States. Look what's happening now.
You
The
believe.
Republicans don't.
You
So
believe, wait.
Huh?
You believe that if Kamala Harris were to run again in 2028, she could beat the likes of Rubio, J.D. Vance, or even Trump? Trump is talking about he may run again. You think Kamala Harris can win in a rematch?
That motherfucker's gonna be in a body bag. Natural cause is gonna take him out.
So you're
Go to the pits of fucking hell.
you're saying Trump will not be alive in 2028?
Nope. I hope he goes before then.
Why would
Body
you?
bag.
Why would you wish something? Wait. Why would you say something like that?
Well, what do you want me? You want a cookie? Let me tell you something. The damn
appreciate that. Thank you.
ass fucking monkeys and shit. I don't give two fucks about. I have no respect. I turned one of them out. You know what? I had one. You know what? Yesterday or the day? No, last night. I had a cornstarch ex monkey come up in my shit and said, "Come in peace." And I said, "What you want in my inbox?" You know what he said? He said, "You talk so much shit, but you're spitting the fucking truth." He said, "Keep on talking shit like that." And guess what? He's going straight fucking blue. And guess where he lives at? Florida. I turned
Well,
one out.
you do realize Florida will remain rich. You may have gotten one.
You never know that. You never know, honey. Because after they get no food stamps and shit, honey, they may be going blue. Because they're thinking. Because let me tell you something. They have to the first to get the ACA to stop, to go up. If they don't get that, everybody's just gonna go up.
I'm going to tell you, despite what's going on with the farmers, or you're now talking about SNAP and EBT recipients, I'm not hearing a lot of MAGA suggest that they're not happy with Trump. They'll admit I don't agree with them 100%, but I'm not hearing a lot of them say, "Wait, hold on." I'm not hearing a lot of Trump supporters say they wish they had voted for Kamala Harris.
Tim, get the cock out your mouth, okay? I suppose you get it out your mouth.
What the hell?
It hasn't hit them yet. It hasn't hit them. The ACA has not hit them yet. The enrollment starts November 1st. The red states are going to get hit.
Gangster.
And going to get hit hard. Do you know how much my insurance is for my employees?
What?
Do you know how much mine went up? $3,000.
Wow.
Mine went up $3,000. I don't get ACA.
Why are you saying? Wait. Why are you saying it hasn't hit them yet? Understand the farmers have been hit. Hold on, wait a minute. Listen, you got to hear me out. The farmers have been hit. China's not buying soybean from them at all, and they're still saying that they're not saying they wish they had voted for Kamala Harris.
Tim, I swear to God, you gotta get both those cock out your mouth because they're fucking you without a condom. I swear to God, they are.
What the hell has this got to do with that?
They're crying already.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The white maggots, the corn monkeys are crying already. Okay? They're crying.
What the hell is a corn monkey?
Cornstarch fucking monkeys. They're crying already. Oh my God. Well, I didn't know he was going to do this. And get the fuck out. We all told you don't.
Thank you for the crowd. Appreciate that.
The only ones I am going for, and I'm buying my beef from for my restaurant and my own self, is a black what's that?
Appreciate that, Bama.
I'm going, and I already inboxed them and everything. They're going to give me prices and everything. I'm buying my beef from there because I'm not trusting the Argentina beef with mouth and foot disease. You got me fucked up.
All right. I mean, fair enough. But
They voted for They voted for her. Yes.
I mean, I get all of that, but I'm just going to tell you, even members of the Trump supporters, from people who supported Trump, despite what some of his policies may be doing to them financially or whatever the case may be, they're still behind their vote for Trump.
Let me tell you something. ACA has not hit them. Open enrollment starts November the 1st. My people, I'm in Cali, already opened. My people already got their shit. Theirs hasn't opened. When they start seeing triple and shit, and on food stamps, they're cutting the food stamps and raising the shit, all hell's gonna break loose.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but understand what they thought America was going to be like under Kamala. So even if it costs more,
honey, I'd rather have her because she was doing shit. She passed more bills and did tiebreakers than any other vice president ever, and they was helping us. The damn dollar was over.
Let me say it like this. Let me say it like this. You understand that MAGA was very vocal when Biden was in office about what they didn't like. Notice that all of this. Hold on, wait a minute. Notice that all of the stuff, all of the complaining you're making about Trump. Notice you don't hear a lot of vocal outrage from MAGA. Yeah, we don't like this or that, but they're still behind Trump.
Because they're sucking on this cock so deep. You know what? But ground beef and the groceries were cheaper under Biden. Now they're not. They're way up in orbit. Okay? And let me tell you something. Car insurance will go through the fucking roof at the end of this fucking year. Everything's going to go through the fucking roof. You know what? They ain't going to admit that they fucked up and they did this shit, but they're going to hurt. And they're going to be going to those lines too. And then they're still blaming us for the damn shutdown. But you can't blame us. You know how fucked up Donald Trump is? They have emergency money to give out to the states to get food stamps. Emergency money. They will not release it. How fucking cruel is that? So don't tell me that she would have been worse. We would have.
I didn't say. Wait, hold on. What the hell? I said she was a bad candidate. I didn't say she would have been a worse president.
They think she was going to be worse. They
have a right to say that. They have a right to say that.
They would have the food stamps. They would have the ACA. We wouldn't be the laughing stock of the world. And the people are protesting in other countries, for God's sake. That tells you a lot. They don't like the Smotsy. They don't. He's a fucking full-blown fucking Smotsy.
Bro, a lot of folks do disagree with you in this country. So I'm just simply saying a lot of stuff that you're talking about.
You know why? Because they're uneducated. They're fucking racist. If you're still voting for this man right now, you're a fucking racist. And you're fucking your own damn self. You know what? Because they're like 6th grade level of reading, and it's a God's truth. You
don't think that all MAGA is uneducated and racist? No way you believe that. You think everyone that voted for Trump is either uneducated or racist?
Yes. Like he said, the smart ones are mad at him. He calls them to their face, and they're still sucking on his cock.
77 million voters. They're all racist or uneducated.
77 million of dumb fucks interbred. You know what? Like the young voters, right? They are dumb as fuck. Oh, he's gonna help us with groceries. He's gonna do this. Is he helping you now, dumb fucks? Is he helping you with formula? When next month you ain't gonna feed your fucking baby kids, your interbred kids? How about that? See, you fucked yourselves, three motherfuckers. You're so damn dumb. You're so racist that you don't like our asses for the color of our fucking skin, but you fucked yourself. Oh, go fuck the libs. You're not hurting the Democrats, you dumb fuck. We got the money. You're hurting your dumb asses. Your interbred motherfucking asses.
I got hands Afro in the comments right now is saying Trump is a genius. She is a fool, referring to you. So a lot of folks disagree with you.
Because they're interbred. They don't even know who their mama is. They don't know who their mama is. They don't know who their daddy is. It could be their fucking uncle. The fucking interbred motherfucking sick bitches.
Okay.
Do you realize that we had more Ellen Alivans? And guess who they was? White T-men.
Well,
So don't tell me.
you're not blaming that on Trump, though, are you?
Walk like a duck, you talk like a duck, quack, quack.
You're blaming people taking others' lives on Trump. Trump would suggest that they tried to take his life. Trump is saying that your side tried to take his life a couple times.
That they were white. They were maggots.
This
What are you
one-
talking about? See, let me tell you something. All these motherfucking white tea motherfucking racist piece of shit say we have black crime, black on black crime. Let me tell you something about black on black crime. Yes, we do have some black on black crime, but we go after the person that fucked us. You feel what I'm saying? And we pew pew them. We don't go to a house, to a damn school, and pew pew up innocent kids. Okay? We do have our problems, but let me tell you, we have organizations that are helping us with it. Unlike you, white tea trailer ass garbage people. Okay? You don't have nobody on your side trying to help you, dumb with asses.
I don't know if I totally agree, but Gangsta Grandma, I do got to move it on.
Excuse me? Mothers Against Gun Violence. That's black. That's black. That's for us, our community. Do not go there. I'm coming up there for 2 weeks. And I need another favor for you before you kick my ass down. You need to let our asses up. I pay $20 a month.
I'll let you up every damn show. I got to move it on. I appreciate you coming on. I got to move it on. I let you up. You come up every show. Anyway, look in the comments. Cody Locks Production says, hey, you should look up the channel, A Black Conservative Perspective, if you're interested in a level-headed right-wing perspective. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. Continuing on, tell her Hanson, being a bad candidate doesn't mean she would be a bad president. And I agree with that. Listen, I voted left. I actually voted for Kamala. I understand that. I went to a couple Trump rallies. I didn't go to any Kamala or Biden gatherings. I voted for Kamala Harris, but I went to see what Trump was talking about. But yeah, I don't think she was a good candidate. That's just my humble opinion. And you hear my last caller said that if she was near me, she'd choke me out for saying that. I have to interject. Why is this person not banned for life in here? It's free speech, Chip. It's free speech. I do believe in letting folks speak. If the apps will let you say it, so will yours truly. We started this program off 3-4 years ago. The whole purpose was to be uncensored free speech as far as we could take it. We don't, a few words like the N-word and things like that, the apps will ban you. So there's a few words, but we do believe in letting the people speak. So that's how it goes. How do I subscribe to your channel? White Privilege King. That's a hell of a name. You can subscribe to your boy on YouTube, The Handsome Liberal on YouTube. If you want to follow us here, follow on TikTok. We're also currently live on Instagram and Tim Liberals on Facebook. So we're on all of those platforms currently live simultaneously. Actually, groceries are cheaper now. That's a lie, says Michael Harris. I'm not seeing that, Mike. I don't know what part of the country you're in. By the way, by way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks in your local area are seeing groceries cheaper now under Trump than they were under Biden? Maybe the cost of eggs, but outside of the price of eggs, by way of yes or no, are groceries cheaper in your neck of the woods? State it in the comments, yes or no. Cody Lux also said, who voted to keep the government closed? Oh, the right, the Democrats, LOL, Republicans voted to keep it open. You need 60 votes to keep it open. Dems said no. That is true. But the Dems did give a reason why they're not voting with the Republicans. And I will submit this to you. The way Trump is treating the Republicans during the shutdown is not giving them any incentive or motivation to work with them. I mean, Trump ain't said a positive thing since this whole shutdown began. I mean, he's bashing the Democrats every damn day. You may favor him doing that. You may like hearing him do that. But if you need that side to work with you, do you think that's the way to do it? You think that's going to make it work? Let me go back to the box. And I don't see anybody. I see one person said yes, groceries. Well, Jeremy Bristol said it too. So Eden Star says, fuck no. Yeah, I don't see anybody that said grocery prices have went down. I went grocery shopping yesterday. I like to have a steak. I always love to have a good steak. Steak and fish. I like to have at least one meal per week, one dinner per week. That is I like to get a good steak dinner. I always love to have a nice piece of fish. Those are two of the most expensive meats you can buy. And they haven't went down in my neck of the woods. I'm just going to tell you that they have not went down in my neck of the woods. Most groceries have come down a little bit, but some have gone up and some are about the same since Gen X. Like I said, maybe in your neck of the woods. I'm not seeing that. I am not seeing that whatsoever. We'll go straight to Mike. Good evening. Jeff Barry, when have Trump ever had a good economy? They're going to say the first couple years of his first term was good. Some would say that's him riding out Obama's term, but the first couple years of Trump's term, right up to the pandemic, really, the economy wasn't bad. Mike, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay.
You've heard me say time and time again, the first 12 to 18 months of any presidency is an inheritance of the predecessor.
But you're going to open yourself up to folks saying, well, Trump is only in his first 9 months, so this is Biden's economy right now.
Yeah, but here's a difference. I'm not opening myself to shit because I do my research. But anyway, before
I get it. Listen, with the tariffs and shit like that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that. But before I do, tap the screen share to live 158 people.
Thank you.
Let's get 10 past 25,000.
Please.
Tim's looking like James Evans when he thought he had that supervisor job. When he put on the time shit. You know what episode I'm talking about too, don't you?
Oh my God. You don't want to pull that whole episode of Good Times.
Yeah, when they threw the party for him and shit and he didn't get the job. Yeah, anyway. White people just opt out. Listen,
right over their head.
Black people,
go ahead.
The black people in the comments laughing because they know white folks just, Anyway, two things. Let's be clear. First of all, Pete, in the comments, there's no such title as border czar. The idea when Kamala Harris went over to South America and talked to the three countries about what was ailing them, and she raised money to help stem some of the crisis in their countries, did not make her the border czar. She was not in charge of the border. I don't know why they forget who was in charge of the border. It wasn't her.
I don't disagree with you on that, Mike, but I will. This is why I keep saying that she wasn't a good candidate or whatever. Hold on, hang on. If Trump is lying about you, and Trump has told a lot of lies about the Democratic Party, a lot, he continues to do it. You got to get out there and counter that shit. That's what I told my first caller. Telling telling people to do their research, that ain't working.
Tim, that's not her fault because motherfuckers don't want to read. She cannot, nor can any candidate counter all of this daily lying. It's impossible, Tim. No, you can't. You can't track it all. It's too many lies. It's just too many. And I didn't even want to go there because that's going to irritate me because I don't believe that. But here's the thing. She wasn't the border czar, dumbass MAGA reacts. Who was responsible for the border? MAGA reacts, since you brought it up while you and I talked, who was responsible for the border? Give me the name. So anyway, because didn't that motherfucker get impeached? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. There was somebody that did get impeached.
Oh yeah, you're talking about what the hell?
Mayorkas.
Yes.
Mayorkas.
Yeah.
So when they talk about her, and it wasn't her, it was Alejandro Mayorkas, and he did get impeached for it. Did he or did he?
Yep, that is true.
Okay. So all of you motherfuckers that don't know what you're talking about, go read. Change your algorithm. You guys don't know what you're talking about. But see,
that's what makes Trump a much better candidate is he dumbs it down and he simplifies it so you don't have to go. He's not telling the truth, but he's selling it in a way that you don't have to go and do all of this extra reading that a lot of people don't like to do. He gets on TV and says what you want to hear.
By the strategy of politics, and I'm not saying that they don't lie or they don't bloviate, but we've never seen anything like this, to where you have to defend blatant lies, like what I just said. Yeah. Like, why are we defending the title of czar? We don't have czar titles in this country. Why are we having a conversation or having to defend something as silly as that?
Well, we don't have kings in this country either, and the Democrats have said he's trying to be a king.
Trying to be a king and being a border czar are different. Did you hear the different word, Tim?
Well, people are saying he is a dictator. He is an authoritarian. They're saying that now.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
I'm just simply saying, if you call somebody something that they officially do not have the title for, I don't see any difference between that and saying that Mayorkas was a border czar. I mean, they're saying Trump is a king, or Trump is an authoritarian, or Trump is a dictator.
What I'm saying is that you don't even hear him even mention Mayorkas. You don't even hear him they don't even mention the man's name like he didn't exist.
Yeah. Cody Likes Production in the comments says that he's saying that Biden actually said that Kamala Harris was a border czar. I've never heard that.
Okay. Again, these fools. I guess Biden is an Air Force pilot that can drop shit on people too. That was actually him. Listen, let me tell you. This man is over in Japan talking about he wants a third. He wouldn't mind having a third term. And these motherfuckers are literally considering that that's something that we should even be considering. No other president until now. Well, since I'm not gonna say no other president since now.
Bro, FDR.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, they obfuscate every sense of normality for this idiot. It just doesn't make any sense, Tim.
Well, it does make sense. They think he's doing a fantastic job, Mike.
By no metric that you can show or put up on a screen, though, you can say he's doing a fantastic job. There is no metric.
I gotta disagree with you from a simple standpoint.
Tell me the metric.
The border deportations that people wanted so bad. I mean, who other than Obama, and he certainly is on course to probably surpass Obama. His deportations and security of the border is going to be phenomenal. That's what they want.
That's what they're saying. It's not, Tim. It's not. Listen, let me say.
He's only been in office for 9 months. Give him time.
Again, I told you, if the latch on your gate on the side of your house is broken, you put a brick next to it. Did you fix your gate? And the answer to that is no. But let me bring up something here. This is the lunacy about this border crisis that everybody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
If Obama was the deporter in chief, which he was named by the Republicans, right?
Say that again.
If Obama was deemed the deporter in chief,
okay,
then there was no crisis when Obama was in office, right?
There was no border crisis when Obama was in office.
Right.
No, I don't believe there was.
Right.
No.
Okay, and then Trump took office.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a border crisis when Trump took office?
Not according to Trump.
This is my whole point. So if there wasn't when Obama and Trump were in office, when did the border crisis become a thing? Because you got to remember, he was spouting that shit.
Come on now, Mike, you got to be kidding me. When Biden took office, they relaxed the remain in Mexico due to the pandemic or whatever. Caravans started coming to this country, and that they were not coming like that under Obama. They started coming like that under Biden because they felt that he would be sympathetic and let them in, and that's exactly what happened. They were able to come in and just claim asylum and get in the country.
And again, they didn't do anything but follow the process. See, this is the thing. This whole border crisis was never a border crisis. It was a lie. Because see what happens.
No, come on now.
Hold on, Tim. Hold on. If you normally have a flow of people coming across the southern border, right? We got a normal flow of what, 1.6? Because we need 1.6 million a year to be part of our workforce. Okay. Right. So if you have a flow and then you stop everything, what happens to that flow, Tim?
I mean, I get it. It could cause some serious.
No, it's just going to cause a backlog of people. Correct.
Okay. Yes.
And so, what happens when it finally reopens? Would that be a normal flow?
Yeah, but you should be able to predict that's going to happen and change and make some changes.
And he did, Tim. The first week when they were in office. Hold on, Tim. The first week when they were in office, they put forth new legislation for the border. The first fucking week.
That is true.
And it got shot down by who?
The Republicans. Why do you think I keep saying they were bad candidates, though? Because a lot of people don't know this shit, Mike.
But they don't care, Tim. This is my point. What you and I are talking about, this conversation we're talking about, they don't care about the process. He demonized these people. The right demonized these people. And I keep telling you, they care about the racism and cruelty. Else they wouldn't have bought into it. They cared about the rapists and the smurderers pouring into this country. They bought into that shit. because they wanted to believe into it, Tim. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. They bought into it. That's what they do. They look for this harm and cruelty. You're acting like what I'm saying isn't true.
No. I agree that they, examples are going to be exaggerated. I mean, both sides do this, just like with the abortion debate and things like that. If you can find some, 10-year-old that had to carry a baby to term under horrible conditions, it's going to be played all over the news. So yeah, Lincoln Riley, friends, you hear about it over and over and over again. I don't disagree that they're going to find examples to, find things to make examples out of. I'm not disagreeing with that.
What I'm saying is this. They said it was a crisis. They said there was crime and the border was the reason for the crime. Let's connect those two dots. The southern border was all these bad people and crime was the result. But if you look at the crime numbers, they don't even match.
Yeah.
And if you look at the U.S. citizens crime rate versus immigrant crime rate, not even fucking close. So when they say it was a crisis, there wasn't a crisis. It wasn't about crime. It wasn't about resources, because if it was about resources, they would have disseminated the resources as they were supposed to, but they didn't do that either.
Yeah. No, I don't. Listen, I've said this many times on the program before. If Trump is giving you numbers, expect them to be exaggerated. Yeah, I just like the same thing about dispatching or deploying the National Guard. I mean, the way they're portraying crime in some of these cities, you would think it was Beirut. I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing that they're exaggerating things to make a point, but it's resonating because the Democrats are not doing a good job to get the actual facts out.
No, it's not resonating because of that. It's resonating because these motherfuckers is racist and bigots, Tim. And they're misogynists. Listen, why do you come on this app every day? In the last 30 days, how many times have you been either called or heard somebody use the word nigger?
It's in the comments. I don't have callers come on the show and say it, but I'm sure it's in there. I don't always notice it. My viewers sometimes tell me that people are calling me the N-word. I don't see it as much. Probably, I don't know, maybe a half dozen times.
Half dozen times, right? And so as soon as it's so funny. I asked you that on purpose because I was watching the comments. As soon as I brought up race, it's here we go, liberal tears, because they don't want to address. I'm talking about people. This country does not want to address this shit. They don't want to have anything to do with it.
I don't argue with that. But they can easily push back and say, how the hell can I complain about somebody calling me the N-word when I got plenty of liberals, a la Gangsta Grandma, saying they're going to damn near choke me? I mean, Gangsta Grandma neutralizes anything the right could say to me.
Does she really? Well, here's the thing. Now, let me ask you this, since you say that. Do you think she's being passionate or do you think she's being authentic and wanting to really choke you?
I don't think she wants to really choke me.
Okay.
No.
But let me ask you this, though. Do you think they really think that you a nigga?
Whoo.
Okay, that's what I
thought. All right, I'll give you the win on that.
Well, think about this. Was it early this week? There was a man that was burned and found hung in Houston off of an overpass off of I-610.
I didn't hear about that.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
Oh, of course. How did you not hear about a man hanging? I mean, being strange fruited off of an overpass in Houston, Texas.
Wait. You said earlier this week. Today is Monday. When did this happen?
I mean, it was either Friday or Saturday.
No, I didn't hear about
Saturday.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Burned and hanging off of overpass.
So this happened 2 days ago, basically. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I haven't heard about it yet.
How come you haven't heard about it, Tim? How come you haven't heard about it?
Well, and I'm going to be honest with you. I do watch a lot of right-wing media. They're not going to cover no shit like that.
Why, Tim? If everything that I'm saying is a bunch of bloviation and bullshit and fear mongering and race baiting, how come you're not hearing about it?
Because it plays to the possibility that what you're saying is a fact.
It is a fact, because guess what? If that had been a white man,
it would have been shown. Yeah, like the woman that got stabbed on the subway. They played that over and over again.
Exactly, but you'd have to Google what I said to find it, and it should be all across.
I watch a lot of News Nation. I haven't even shown News Nation has become kind of what they may be slightly right of center, kind of like the way CNN was a few years ago. They haven't even covered that. I have not heard that.
I know,
and I do listen to news on the Breakfast Club. I mean, I listen to some left wings. I haven't heard that.
It's being more because more things are being censored. And the irony is that they bitched and whined about that shit. for 4 or 5 years, and they're doing the exact same thing they bitched and whined about. Projection is a confession, and we're watching it real time.
Well,
because that's exactly what's happening, right? And this is the thing. And these are the things that I'm talking about. And when you have these apologists making excuses for this abhorrent behavior as if this is normal, this is not normal. These aren't normal political cycles anymore. We can't apply what we think normally to what we're dealing with. We can't.
Well, how about this though? In the comments, Marissa says, because you can't force people to stop being racist, but obsessing over it arguably leads to more people being racist. How do you respond to that?
This is how I respond to that. What she said would be equivalent to saying you can't obsess over people harming children, so you just got to just move on and get over it.
Yikes!
Would we say that, Tim?
I don't think
so.
Look
at the face you made with the suggestion.
Yeah, I don't think so. Right.
Harm to someone.
Well, there was a guy there was a well-esteemed, honorable guy that once said, "Stop talking about Epstein." So, I mean, maybe
exactly right. I mean, and it's not different, Billy Buckeye. It's not different. And see, that's the thing. When you start equivocating between what kind of harm, racism is a harm. Racism is harm too, Billy. Right? Because it can hurt people, Billy. I just told you about somebody hanging off of you think he decided to set himself on fire and jump, Billy? That came from this ideology. Billy, you guys act as if we're just making this up. Those things happen because of people's ideologies. It's the reason why
something, but I'm not even hearing if like you're right. If this had happened to someone white, the right would have covered it. I mean, you would hear Trump talking about it and things like that. I'm not hearing a lot of the left-wing politicians talking about somebody got hung in Houston.
What news are you watching?
Like I said,
like you just said, you watch a lot of right.
I mean, I do see the Midas touch. What else? I mean, obviously, what is his name? Bernie Sanders had a speech today out in New York. I'm not hearing them talking about this.
Yep.
Him and AOC.
You can Google it right now.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, but I haven't heard. I do get. I mean, listen, I get some left-wing news as well, and I haven't heard about this. It's just not making a lot of big news. I mean, are any of the major players on the Democratic Party, the Jasmine Crockett's, are they talking about it?
I haven't heard. That I can't confirm. So maybe somebody else has heard it, but I haven't heard it. And here's the other thing. We have to be even cautious of how fast we put this out there so we don't get a reaction that takes people to the streets because that's what they're looking for. Like, we got to do this. We got to do this dance about our own protections and civil rights. Because remember, it's just civil, right?
Yeah.
We have to do this dance in order to not incite, what they would consider riot, because all it has to be is black people outside, and then it'll be a riot. Because you see how they did with BLM, right? Over 2,000 protests that were peaceful. There were over 2,000 protests, 1,900 and something were peaceful. And they talk about the few that didn't end up peaceful. But they never talk about the contributors that played into it from the right. They never talk about that.
Well, that would be
talk about the Boogaloo Boys.
Yeah, that would be Charlie Kirk saying that BLM equals burn, loot, and murder. I got to move it on, but I do want to hear what I want to play what you're talking about. But listen, the major players need to get, because like I said, if this happened, the right, with all of the Steve Bannons, the President Trumps, the JD Vance, they would all be talking about this. I don't hear a lot of folks on the left talking about this. It's not on I watched The View today. The View is a left-wing program. I watch the first 2 segments of that every day because they cover politics. They didn't mention it either.
Mm-mm. Go ahead. Well, I thought you were going to play the segment, but here's the thing. Everybody has to walk on eggshells because they don't want. And sometimes you got to do it out of protection of the people. They don't want to incite anything because that's what he's looking for.
If you're just telling news, Mike, I can't see how, if you're just simply talking about somebody losing their life, I don't see how that's inciting anything. If it actually happened, it happened. So I'll leave it like that.
I don't disagree with you at all. I'm just saying I'm measuring the climate that we're in. I'm measuring the evils that these people will do. I'm watching real time as I'm speaking and you and I are speaking. There's people in your comments that are saying this is BS and this nonsense. They don't want to acknowledge anything.
Well, the belief is the Democrats focus, particularly African American Democrats, they believe you focus too much on race as opposed to how to get the country back up and running, and they don't believe focusing on race is going to do that. Last word to you.
last word. And I don't believe getting the country back up and running is going to dilute racism. I don't believe that the people that want the country back up so they can return to their normal sense of life and never contribute to marginalized communities is going to change a fucking thing. They're not going to change dynamically just because you create laws that make racism or these things illegal doesn't change the heart of the people that believe it. It doesn't change their hearts, Tim.
That's a good point. And I don't know what the solution is to that other than teaching them from very young not to be that way. But once they're grown and they develop that type of feeling, I mean, unless you're going to put them in a room with somebody from a different race and make them live together and work together, there's probably not going to be a way to change that. That's hard to do. Mike, appreciate you coming through.
Okay.
All right. Looking in the comments real quick, Stephen B says, are you calling in on Facebook Live or via a phone number? No, this is not a phone number. You're hearing the callers calling through on the Handsome Liberal on TikTok, and you can also on Tim Liberals on Facebook. Also, a Handsome Liberal on Instagram. That's where the callers are calling in from. I've been trying to figure out a way to get. I wish I could get a phone number. I don't know if somebody knows of a program like that. I wish we could do it that way because there's a lot of MAGA viewers that don't use the apps as much, and I would love to talk to them. Anyway, thank you, Stephen B, for that input. Continuing on, Cody Locks Production says the Congress has to change the Constitution for Trump to serve a second term. Stop fear mongering. LOL. Also, if you are here illegally, bye. Well, look, if you're here illegally, I'm not arguing with I'm not arguing with your point that you believe they should have to leave. A law is the law. I mean, I know some folks have been in here for a long period of time. They've not committed any additional crimes, but I get where you're going with it. I'm a little bit more sympathetic. Maybe you're not, but the law is unfortunately the law. But in regards to suggesting that, you know, the Constitution has to be changed for Trump to run again and the Democrats are fear-mongering, I wish you would tell that to Steve Bannon.
So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is
now, just to interrupt Steve Bannon, this is very similar to folks who suggest the Democrats are talking shit when they say Trump is trying to be a dictator or a king, you know, after the No King's Day protest. I just want to say this. You can't blame the Democrats for saying Trump is trying to do these things when he's constantly telling you himself, I'm trying to do these things. If he is selling 2028 hats, how can you blame the Democrats for saying that in 2028 he wants to run? Now, I know some of my beloved MAGA are going to suggest that, well, he's just telling a joke. Listen, if I tell a bunch of fart jokes, I can't complain when somebody says your ass must got diarrhea. If he is making references to running again, you can't complain when the Democrats say this dude is going to run again. He is not exactly clearing that up. So, and of course, Steve Bannon, who used to be a member of his first administration, is also saying it. So understand, it's not fear-mongering when you're actually telling people you intend to do it. Or at the very least, he is responsible for the fear-mongering that's happening. Blame that on him. Cody Locks Production says, border crisis started under Biden, and Kamala even said, come on in. There's also clips of Kamala Harris saying, do not come as well, Cody. And they surged the border. There was 11 million or more illegal crossings that we know, 100% crime rate. They crossed illegally. I think look, I appreciate the support there, Cody Locks. I think some of that's an exaggeration. Certainly I'll just say it this way. And I was saying this when Biden was in office. I don't believe the claim that the high crime rate that the right is suggesting about these illegal immigrants is accurate. And I'll tell you why. If these immigrants coming from prisons and insane asylums that Trump often states that they opened up their prisons and let all these people come in the country, where do they first enter America? Laredo and, Brownsville and El Paso, all of these border towns. If these folks were as violent as President Trump and the right suggests, the border towns in America should be the most violent cities in this country, because that's where they first come in. There should be ridiculous amounts of crimes happening in those towns. And it's just not. When you think about the top most violent cities in America, it's not border towns. So what, do they all just come through and they all know to behave? Because that's where a hell of a lot of the illegal immigrants are, even still to this day, is in those towns. So I don't, the crime rate, the allegations that they're so criminal, you know, they're high criminals and all that, it don't measure up. It just doesn't measure up. I mean, not to mention, our prisons should be loaded with illegal immigrants if they were that violent. I mean, they should be a huge portion of the prison population, and they're just not. So it just, what you're actually seeing doesn't measure what they're saying. The legislation would allow 5,000 illegal crossings per month. Stop lying about the legislation. Yeah, that is a good point. And that was aimed at my last caller, Mike, when you said that Biden tried to pass a border bill and the Republicans shot it down, which they did shoot it down. But he does rightfully point out that there was still an unacceptable amount, according to the right, of illegals. They had to let in a certain amount before you could shut it down or do anything. The right was not a fan of letting that amount of people in. He's saying 5,000 illegal crossings per month. I believe that's accurate. I think that's accurate. So they shot down Biden's border bill because they didn't. The same reason why the Democrats are now not working with the Republicans. They don't agree with what Trump is doing right now with the economy and the cost of healthcare. Could say Democrats project a lot on the right too. I don't quite get what you were saying there in reference to that. Let me go back to the box. Midas touch, pure propaganda. Cody likes, what biased podcast is not promoting propaganda? I mean, look, you can see propaganda coming from the right. I mean, coming from the left rather, but you don't see it coming from the right. I mean, Alex Jones, I mean, all of that shit, his war room. I would even submit to you, Steve Bannon promotes propaganda. You got members on Trump administration promoting propaganda. That's kind of what you get from podcasts, which is why I like to give folks free speech. So you can hear from both sides and come to a conclusion on what is bullshit and what is not. But it's all propaganda. I mean, there's a whole lot of it out there. But I don't think the Midas Touch is a bad program, to be honest with you. Elvis, evils while abortions are used as birth control. Like I said, I think if you ban abortion, you're not going to like the outcome. I don't want a third term, and I hate Republicans who push that bullshit. Trump is joking about it because the Dems freak out, but those that say that seriously are detrimental to the Republican Party. Agree with that 100%. In my opinion, no president should joke about violating the Constitution. That is not something that should be comical. This is where I believe the problem lies with President Trump is you got to have some kind of bar. And I'm talking to my beloved MAGA. I'm not talking to Democrats. You don't give a fuck what the Democrats have to say, but I'm talking to my beloved MAGA. You need to have a bar as to what you draw a line that should not be joked about. You clearly had a line when people joked about what happened to Charlie Kirk. That line didn't exist when people joked about what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband. The right needs to develop lines because you're right. Some of the stuff you're claiming that Trump is joking about, it is hurting your party significantly. It is hurting your party. You don't joke about violating the Constitution if you're the guy that's supposed to be in charge of making the country great and leading us down a path to success. That ain't something you should be joking about. That's a fucked up thing to do. Illegals break the law each day. They are here 100% crime rate among them. Well, your argument is that coming here illegally is actually that's not even true. Because a lot of folks you guys are calling illegal immigrants are people that had their temporary protected status violated or overturned by Trump. And now you're calling them an illegal immigrant. They didn't come here illegally. In fact, all of the asylum seekers that you guys call illegal immigrants, they're not illegal. So no, they don't even have 100% crime rate, as you're saying. Even by your standards, that's not true. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the program. Stop talking shit. If we voted tomorrow, he would win again, says Kevin Law. What do you guys think? Yes or no in the comments. If we had an election tomorrow, Trump v. Kamala Harris, who would win? If we had an election tomorrow, Trump versus Kamala Harris, who would win? Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, she would win. She would win if they win right now.
You think she would win? I don't know. I don't know, Dick, because I'm telling you, I don't think there's enough Trump supporters that have remorse. But I would agree with you from a standpoint of there would be a lot more Democrats that would actually come out and vote this time.
And he would lose a lot of that Hispanic vote that he got. You think them folks down there in Miami who was all happy, you think all of them folks gonna come out there all enthusiastic?
Donald Trump, we love you. No, that ain't gonna happen. No,
But Donald Trump, I will vote for Donald Trump. They had a whole song and everything.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, that chick was on TV talking about, you lied to me, Donald Trump.
I got, some, now that you orated that way, I actually do believe that Trump would lose because the Hispanic vote, I think you would probably have, I think the Hispanics would probably vote against Trump more so than the blacks. And I think their turnout is higher than ours. I'm not for certain, but I think blacks are the ones that have the lowest turnout in elections. I think the Hispanic turnout is higher. There are more of them than us in the country as well. I actually do believe that she would probably beat him this time, just because he's done so much that the Hispanic community does not favor.
Right. And then you think about the people. Remember all of those people that was in Chicago who was so happy. Now that he done dispersed the dang on National Guard and all of them people down in Chicago, they it might be for an opposite reason. They still might want to kick the Hispanics out, but they damn sure don't want, people, jumping out of cars with masks on, snatching people up and sticking them in vans and whisking them off with, what I'm saying? Not even telling their families.
Well, so far, his policies I don't think they've hurt the black community that much yet. In some cases, but not as, the Hispanic community is being devastated by Trump. But I do believe it will eventually migrate to the black community as they go for Haitians and other darker immigrants. But the Hispanic community has been devastated. So that's why I said I believe that she would beat Trump, because the Hispanic turnout against Trump would be huge. I don't know. I haven't came across a lot of black MAGA that are like, I regret my vote. I have came across Hispanics.
Yeah, the guys for Black MAGA, they got their own personal reasons. It must be something about their self-esteem and self-hatred and all that kind of stuff. So I don't plan on them ever coming back. But the people on the margins, those independents that each party requires so much of every time we have a presidential election, the independents are not feeling this stuff. They are not.
But when you say the black community is not coming back, you think if Trump had ICE on television treating the black community in large numbers, I see what happened in the high rise in Chicago, but if that was happening everywhere, like it's happening with the Hispanic community, you think black MAGA would still keep voting for Trump?
Well, we could have a debate about whether, it's a whole lot of us out there really voting for him, but it's not enough on the margins to make a difference either way. It's not like we're talking about millions of black people went out. It's not that many. They said it was 20% of the black men that actually vote. That's not a very big number.
Yeah.
So, them guys are gonna stay where they at. And look, I don't care if they stay where they at. I'm more concerned about the masses and trying to get this country back in a direction that's positive. Because right now, having the biggest aircraft carrier off the coast of Venezuela, and a president that said he was against war, and just framing it as something else. And just talking about, those people, we just gonna kill them dead. We just gonna kill them dead. This country is in a bad place mentally. If this country had a mentality, it would be schizophrenic right now.
And do you blame that all on Trump, though?
Not necessarily, but he's given people he's given them the authorization to come out and say these things that they have maybe been feeling but haven't had the
What do you mean by he's giving them the authorization? Explain that.
It's a lot of people. These people on these lives and stuff. It's not like it was in his first term. Now I know social media wasn't as big back then,
Right.
but
It was big enough.
People just wide open on social media now. Now the way they made X now, and like it's just like a cesspool when you get on here and you talk to people, and people are just saying anything, and you can still go on, you can still go on World Star Hip Hop and see folks saying something stupid and getting the brakes beat off of them because they feel so confident. Like they stopping like guys in FedEx uniforms talking about, you're not supposed to be here. Just saying, who are you? What? Show me your papers. Like, when has people in this country ever been able to go up to somebody and just be like, you don't belong here? Now they've been thinking it.
Yeah.
But they saying
I gotta admit, I have not seen folks questioning other individual citizenship and reason to be in America as much as I'm seeing it now. I mean, listen, Trump has made a big push to get illegal immigrants out of the country, and now folks are looking at everybody brown and like, well, do your ass supposed to be here? I mean, so it is happening a lot. I don't know. How do we get past this? I mean, is this the way it's just going to be?
I think a lot of this is going to come and go with Trump. Like, there are people who are cool with reinstating Civil War statues of people who were treasonous to this country and saying we shouldn't tear down history. And they watched the man tear down the whole east wing of the White House without telling a damn soul, not giving nobody the specifics about what he's doing, how much it's going to cost, and he say his buddy's going to pay for it.
But the argument they're going to make is, listen, he's not the first president to do renovations to the White House. That's the counter argument.
I know that, but that's look. Everybody wants to say, oh, well, Obama did it when he made the basketball court. If they would just look into it, he changed like the thing that was like a tennis court, and he kind of made it so it could be, dual use. So he had basketball courts that were outside. He didn't build a.
Yeah, he essentially took a tennis court and painted some basketball lines on it. I mean, it's not even the same universe of what Trump is doing, but
all of the money was appropriated by Congress to $370-something million because they had to renovate, because the White House, they had to change the infrastructure, the piping and all of that stuff was original. They had to get asbestos out. They had to do all of these upgrades. That was planned under Bush before Obama even got into place, and it just happened to fall on when he was there. Now, this is the same thing that they're going to say other people have. No, people have not.
I want you to listen to this because I haven't heard this. In the comments, John Muser says $400 million basketball court, taxpayers paid for. So when Obama put a basketball court in, it cost $400 million.
And I'm sitting here explaining that it was paid for by Congress.
Did it cost that much?
It cost $370-something million. Yes, they did a full renovation, not just that part that they're talking about, but they changed the piping.
No. Wait. We're talking about Obama putting a basketball court in. Did it cost?
Right, no. He's confusing that because this happened at the same time when those renovations were going on. So they're saying Obama, and they're confusing. Just open their tennis court that he converted and making it seem like he spent $300 or $400 million.
Right. Well, that would make no sense. How could you even explain spending that kind of money for an outdoor basketball court? I mean,
Obama wouldn't have dare ask no damn Congress or nobody else for no $400 million for no damn basketball court. They just fucking lying. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And that person that's saying that on the other end will not go and look this up.
A $400 million basketball court would probably be at least high school level attendance. I mean, it would be hundreds of seats and all kinds of concession stand. I mean, it might be as the size of a college stadium or whatever. That would be a stadium.
It's crazy what these people are. they're associating two different things. But all it would take is a simple Google search to find out that wasn't a vanity project by Obama. Obama converted a tennis court into a basketball court. They're conflating that with Bush era policy that said we need to renovate the White House because we got original piping and we got asbestos and all of that stuff. And they went in and did all of that stuff. And it cost 370 something million back then. So you know how extensive that was, but it wasn't because a president came in and said, I just want a new. But
let me ask it to you this way. I mean, out of all of the things that's going on, even with the White House being, part of the White House being demolished without Trump getting approval, not to mention him lying and saying it wasn't going to be touched at all, and now all of a sudden you see part of it being torn down. But in regards to all of the things that are going on in this country, is that making a mountain over a molehill?
No. We have that's our house as the people. What do you mean a mole house? He tore down a wing of a historical monument without getting permission from Congress or anything. He doesn't own the house. He just lives there. Yeah. People have made adjustments on the inside, like bought new furniture or got new silver or did, rearrange the pictures on the wall.
How about this? Robert Taylor in the comments asked, if Trump or his associates are paying for it, who cares? Now, I know the obvious answer, but I'll let you answer it. He says, if Trump is paying for it, who cares?
Because everybody that's paying for it wants something in return. Microsoft, Apple, all of these companies look at all of them. They all want to be on this good side because they want something in return. That is why you do not use donation money for government projects. Yeah. Because you don't want any type of improprieties, or you don't want anybody to expect anything or even the appearance of quid pro quo. That's why it's against the law. I was in government contract. If I had a contract to do construction on a building or a room in my hospital, and I found out in the contract I forgot to buy some grocery bags, some trash bags. I could not personally go out and spend $15 on a box of trash bags because I could not donate to a government contract. That's how strict it is.
Yeah, and that isn't where I thought you were going to go, but that's certainly a place I would have eventually went. I thought at first you were going to say, I use the example all the time, that if you let somebody stay in your attic or in your garage or whatever, they can't just remodel your shit and be like, well, I paid for it, so what do you care? I mean, you got to ask for permission before you start tearing down the people's house. So I do agree with that. Not to mention, it would have been a lot better if he had a submitted plan so America knows what it's going to look like and architectural drawings and things like that, because this place is being remodeled by an 80-year-old. I mean, that we know of, he's the only one that's doing all of it. We've seen
He showed us some pictures that are architecturally, if you look at the inside and the outside, they're not compatible. Those drawings that he's shown are not realistic. When he says a 90,000 square foot, ballroom compared to what he's showing on the inside and stuff. Yeah.
And of course, as somebody in the comments pointed out, not only did he show us what you're talking about that's incompatible for what it would look like on the inside, he showed us that after the place was already demolished. So, I mean, at that point,
no drawings or nothing. Just some futuristic pictures of a ballroom with a bunch of gold in it. And that's it. And he just said, my friends is going to pay for it, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with what you said in regards to where it would go. In other words, you're getting people to pay for this renovation to the White House. We don't know who the people are specifically. You're saying some associates. Now we know it's tech bros. But we didn't know that. And of course, as you rightfully point out, why would people just give you millions of dollars with no strings attached? That's the whole thing with the Qatar jet. We covered that when it was first happening. Like, why would they give them a $400 million jet just out of love? And then later on you hear, well, we're going to have a base in Idaho. We're going to train them how to fly F-15s. Something just popped up out of the blue with the country that was so nice to you all of a sudden, which makes it look clearer that it wasn't a free gift. It was for something you were going to do for them. So it does look like these people are doing things to get some kind of favor from you later on.
Right. And one of the newest things is, I keep a whole bunch of these kind of useless facts in my head, but sometimes I like to unload them on your show to some of these MAGA people. Now, it's a drone company that Donald Jr. is heavily invested in, just got a big contract with the Department of Defense.
I miss the days of Hunter Biden grifting. I mean, they don't take Hunter Biden they are doing to grifting what Michael Jordan did to selling shoes. I mean, it was all right when Magic and Larry Bird sold a few pair, but damn. I mean, I thought Hunter Biden was getting a job that he didn't deserve. The Trump family is making a killing. God damn.
They said he stole $3 million from foreign entities. $3 million, and he smoked it all up. But they was mad as hell calling them a crime family. Now these folks is making billions.
Yeah, Hunter Biden is talking about small fish. Hunter Biden is down there with Letitia James. Like he ain't scamming shit. Like you guys making real money.
Hunter Biden was about to get locked up for 15 years for that shit too before his dad caved and saved the day.
Wow. I need to call one of you Trump. Can I hang out with you for a minute? Like, God damn.
The guy on here, Bruce A. Yeah, it was a lot more than coke. He had some chicks out there too. He was doing it big over there in the Ukraine, in them places that he was stealing money from them foreign governments that everybody hated so much. So now Trump's kids are stealing money from our government.
Yeah, the Bidens. Listen, I think every family of a president probably use their name in some way, fashion, or form. We haven't heard that from Obama's children yet, but I'm sure that name would help them out some way. But what Trump's kids and relatives are doing is way different level than anything we've seen in the past. They've taken it to a whole new level. They're making generational wealth off of their dad's position. It's not even in the same realm to bring up Hunter Biden or anybody else. I got to move it on Denkel, but I mean the billions they're making, man. Huh?
Last thing before I go, they were upset that Hunter Biden played around a golf with some of Hunter's friends and stuff. But then we got the president of the United States standing up there at the UN talking to the foreign leader from, I think he was from Algeria, talking about, hey, tell your son to give me a call. That place we picked out for the resort, it's in a bad spot. So tell your son to call me. And he's like, yeah, he's a good boy. He said, if not him, tell Don Jr. to call. Like, we heard this shit on the open mic that they didn't know. And these motherfuckers got the nerve to be talking about, look, Joe Biden took a picture with some of the guys that Hunter was said to have these business dealing with, man. It's just an alternate reality that we live in. And these folks just say, well, y'all did it.
This is not even on the same level. But Denkel, I appreciate you coming through as always, man. Thank you.
All right, take it easy.
You too. And by the way, folks, tap the screen. Help your boy get that hat and mustache go. Yeah. Show your boy some love. Tap the screen. Get the likes. God damn. We should have been around 60, 70,000. Tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 40,000. The brainwashing machine is working on your caller, says Kevin Law. Something, Kevin? If he said something I didn't agree with, I'd point it out. But if you don't think that the Trump family, from Jared Kushner with the Saudis and all, you don't think they're making a bunch of money, I think that you got to just be blind and turning the other way. These folks are making a killing off of Trump being in the White House. I mean, they're selling all sorts of shit. They got their own crypto, which you don't know what the fuck is going on behind the scenes with the crypto. That is like an avenue to corruption. You don't know who's paying them through crypto. I don't. If you don't see that, you can call it TDS or you can call it brainwashing. To me, you gotta literally turn the blind eye not to see how much money they're making. I mean, even Ann Coulter said it. Ann Coulter, who obviously is a conservative podcaster for many years. She even said, she said Trump is the most corrupt president in history. She said he's enriching his family billions of dollars many times over. I mean, if you don't see it, like I said, you got to literally turn the other way not to see that. They are making a killing. Just the jet from Qatar alone is probably more than everything Hunter Biden is worth. You want to talk about Hunter Biden grifting? That jet alone for $400 million is probably more than Hunter Biden's complete value. And they went way beyond that stuff. Financial literacy isn't common amongst the poor people. I think it's more of a case of turning a blind eye, though. But yeah, and it will come out. It will eventually come out. You know, they say what's done in the dark will come to the light. It may be years down the line. I mean, just like you found out about Deep Throat later on with the Nixon administration, you'll eventually find out a lot of the deals and stuff that came from the Trump administration. It will eventually come to light. Cody, because a lot of folks on the right side of Congress know about that stuff. And once Trump is no longer a threat, they're going to be writing books to make money and telling you stuff. You're going to hear about it. It'll come out. Cody Lux Production says the government can revoke green cards if the president or DOJ deems they aren't acting properly. Also, Kamala versus Trump. Trump would win, no question. I don't feel confident on the Trump beating Kamala Harris if they ran again today, no question, based on what has happened. As one of my viewers pointed out, the farmers and I think the Hispanic community, it would be a big, big difference with the Hispanic community. I just, you know, I have a hard time saying that Trump would win, no question. I don't know about that. But you are right. The government can revoke green cards if the president or DOJ deems they aren't acting properly. And that could be anything. That could literally be anything. You're protesting at a university, yelling, downward Israel or something like that. That could be enough. I mean, it could be anything. Conrad, also, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Real quick before we continue on, Kamala extended sentence. You said Kamala Harris extended sentences of crime in-laws. Okay, I don't know what that is. So they could abuse them for work program for prisons. Okay, I don't know what you're saying there. You're saying Kamala Harris extended people. Okay, you're talking about something she did when she was in California. You're saying she extended sentences of criminals so that the criminals could be used for work programs, like cleaning the side of roads and highways and things like that. And you're making that akin to slave labor. You're saying she was called out during the 2020 primary, and it's as if it is forgotten. I've heard that about Kamala Harris and how tough she was on criminals and things like that. The problem is you only got two parties you can vote for. You can vote for the Republicans or the Democrats. The Republicans ain't going to be against that shit. So if Kamala Harris is making it so that criminals spend more time in prison and they can be used for work programs and things, you're not going to find many Republicans that say don't do that. The only reason it is even being brought up is because Kamala Harris is the opposition in terms of politics. If Kamala Harris was just a district attorney or an attorney general out in California doing that, the right would be saying she's one of the only sane ones in California. But you're going to use it against her when she runs for office. The right always talks about how weak and how soft the Democrats are on crime. So what Kamala Harris was doing in California, being tough on crime, locking up people, that's normally something the right would be championing. The only difference is she's running as a candidate. She's running as the opposition, so they're going to bring it up. But you normally would be totally favoring that. I'd rather have a ballroom than a basketball court or a bowling alley or a tennis court. A ballroom can host foreign dignitaries. Sports cannot. Look, what Trump is doing with the ballroom is I don't think it's just to host foreign dignitaries. He's building a ballroom that can host hundreds and hundreds of people. Zelensky was in the Oval Office. You can still host the people. It's the audience that you don't need to have an audience like that. And by the way, does it have to be on the White House grounds? Really? Did it have to be right there? I don't want to make an excuse for why it's the end of the world, and I'm certainly not going to make an excuse for defending what President Trump did. I'm just going to say the president should not be allowed to tear down the White House with some kind of permission. Yeah, other presidents have, renovated the White House. Okay, Trump wants to renovate the White House or create a ballroom or something like that. Fair enough. He should have to get permission to do it. We should know about the details of what's going to happen ahead of time. Ahead of time. So I'm not saying that what he did is the worst thing in the world. I'm saying how he did it was awful. Ahead of time. You should know what's going to be built there. You should know how much it's going to cost. You should know where the money's coming. You didn't know any of that shit. You still don't even know it for sure where the money's coming from. There should be nobody who can actually spend money on rebuilding the White House without the American people know who that person is. Do you want Kim Jong-un to donate money? Xi Jinping? Vladimir Putin? You need to know where the money's coming from. So I don't favor that. So listen, I'm not saying what he did was wrong. I'm saying how he did it was terrible. From what they're saying, the addition that he's adding on to the White House, this huge 90,000 square foot arena or whatever the hell, is actually going to be bigger than the White House itself. That's like literally having a garage that's bigger than your fucking home. It's going to look weird. Like I said, he should have submitted the actual plans for what's going to be there before doing it. That's all I'm saying. The plans should have been submitted. Past presidents Shave actually added and tore down parts of the White House. No president ever asked permission to do so in the past. I think what you guys, Cody, what you and many other folks are trying to do by comparing what Trump is doing to all other former presidents that made renovations, I don't think you realize the size and scope of what he's doing. As I just stated, his addition is going to be bigger than the actual building itself. That's not something that can be compared to former presidents. I think you're downplaying what he is doing. It's not a base, it's a single building. Yeah, but it's fucking huge. It's bigger than the actual White House itself. Gonna have to stop chatting now still. Cody, I appreciate the input. Thank you for the support, Cody, as always. And why would they, if it goes on long enough, Trump can start firing any executive employee and shut down any executive agency he wants legally. And that's true. And I do believe that after President Trump, there's going to probably be laws passed that limit what one single person can do. So I'm just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But I do believe after President Trump, if things remain the way they are in this country, same level of republic or democracy we have now, in the future, I do believe they're going to, because of President Trump and him literally doing everything by executive order, I do believe they're going to start passing laws. Congress and Senate will have bipartisan support once he's out of the way, because once Trump is out of the way, the Republicans do not want a liberal to come along after Trump and do things as freely as Trump has done it. So you'll get bipartisan support from the right after Trump is gone. Yeah, let's make sure this never happens again. We don't want any chance that you guys may do the same shit. So I do believe once Trump is gone, there will be many laws passed that will be probably, for lack of a better term, anti-Trump laws, so that nobody else can do some of the things he's done. I believe that. I love Trump. Thank you, sir, for supporting, says Azriel. Well, I'm not here to support. We're here to discuss, and thank you, Michael Simmons. I do want to read the super chats before we go on to the next caller. Tap the screen. Get your boy under the 50,000. Steve Bannon is detrimental to the movement, JD 2028. Well, tell Trump to speak up then. Saying you'll love to do it. Saying he loves to do it doesn't mean he will. Obama said he'd want a third term too. Trump is doing a lot more than saying he would love to serve a third term. He's selling hats. He's selling merchandise that says Trump 2028 on it. So you're not going to compare what Trump is doing to Biden or Obama or any other president. He is literally selling merchandise, saying that he's going to run again. That's big difference. Big difference. Let me go back to the box. Continue on with the program. Redneck Christian, love the name. Redneck Christian, good evening. Welcome to the program. Redneck, good evening. Redneck Christian, are you there? Okay, apparently he is not there. We'll move it on. I wanted to talk to him. I love the name. I absolutely would talk to him. Let's go to Nakiva. He's not doing the third term. He's trolling you all. Well, if he's trolling, then you can't blame people for saying it. I mean, okay, like I said, if you want to make jokes.
Oh, fuck.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. What am I getting wrong, Nikiva? Good evening.
I don't know why this shit gets into
You got a really loud background.
Shut the fuck.
Okay. Apparently you got some problems going over there. It sounds like it might be some domestic shit. Blink if you need us. He's not doing a third. Okay. Yeah, like I said, in regards to the trolling, look, if you don't want Democrats to call Trump an authoritarian or a dictator, tell him to stop making jokes, as you say, about being an authoritarian or a dictator. That's his fault. If he's doing it, blame it on him. To quote Milli Vanilli, blame it on the rain. Miss Mobetta, good evening.
Hey, Trump.
Did you say, hey, Trump?
They always talk about he's joking. Oh, they took it out of context and they while he's picking their fucking pockets.
And I will follow what you said about the comment that he's joking. How many times do you tell the same joke? Okay, you joked about running in 2028. Okay, you don't keep saying the same shit day after day, months, years later. I mean, eventually it's not a joke anymore. I mean, any joke can be stale. Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know what more do they need to see before they believe that he is trying to run his dictatorship.
Why do you think this? Why do you think the right don't believe he's running? When, as you rightfully pointed out, not only is he saying it, but he's selling merchandise. Why do you think they're trying to say he's not running?
That's all because of pride. They don't want. They're too proud to say that we fucked up. That's not what we voted for.
Well, let me ask it to you this way. If he did all of a sudden announce that he was running, how do you think the right would receive it?
Oh, they think it's a win for them. They'd be celebrating right now.
Wow.
But I hate to be the bearer of bad news to them, but if it wasn't for Elon, Trump wouldn't have won against Kamala in her 107 days.
Wait. So you think Elon throwing that money around without him?
Come on, man. I'm like, I'm against the grandma. If it walk like a duck and talk like a duck is a motherfucking duck.
But here's the, and I'm not going to deny that Elon certainly helped Trump out significantly, but I don't know if I agree that he couldn't have done it without Elon, because Kamala Harris had a ton of money and she lost every swing state.
Tim.
Yeah.
Elon helped that man. How much ever. Of course, it was going to cost her more money for a campaign because she didn't have as much time.
True.
So that money that she got, that she raised, she used it. She didn't illegally use none of the money. All of the money went to her campaign. But she had to do a lot more than Trump. Trump was running for 4 years as opposed to 107 days. That's a big difference. And she, again, he keeps saying landslide. She had over 75 million votes. So now, if they was to run in 2028 and she ran against them, those people that he was fucking with, it's enough for them to like, all right, we're not fucking with you. My groceries up. You deported my family.
So you do believe that Kamala, if they ran again today, would beat Trump?
Absolutely.
Now let me ask you this, because this is a response to one of my callers. Are we giving Trump an unnecessary amount of shit in regards to in regards to him talking about running again? Because Cody he says no one made a fuss when Obama said he wanted a third term, and Trump jokes about it because the Democrats fearmonger and it's the end of the world. So he's suggesting that.
The thing. Obama was actually running the country for everybody. Trump running for his family and those who got his nuts in their mouth. You know, he said himself he hates Democrats. Oh, I hate the Democrats. That's not fear mongering. That's the shit that he's putting out. Yeah. So we supposed to say, oh, he was joking about that too?
Well, you know, my opinion is I don't think anybody should joke about breaking the Constitution. I mean, if your job is to defend the Constitution as the president, there has to be a line where you don't joke about breaking the Constitution. To me, that's where look, I guess you want to troll the Democrats or whatever, and to keep telling the joke over and over and over again. at some point, when does a joke not become funny? It to
It's
me,
not a joke.
yeah, and I was going to say that. I was going to say that based on his behavior, it's hard to believe this late in the game it's still being a joke. I don't believe that.
It never was a joke. It never was. It never was. When you got foreign countries protesting our government, our president, there's a fucking problem. There was just as many No Kings rallies in other countries as it was here. That's a problem. So, and this is a question I want to ask MAGA before we move forward. Yeah, y'all say, oh, well, Obama deported more than Trump. Why wasn't it a problem when Obama was deporting more immigrants than Trump? Why wasn't it a problem? And that's a genuine question for them.
Well, wait. You're saying why wasn't it a problem for who? You're saying that when Obama was deporting more immigrants than Trump, you saying it was not a problem for MAGA?
There was no protesting. There was none of that going on. And if that is such a problem, you know why it wasn't a problem? Because Obama did not inhumanely deport these people. He did that shit by the book. He didn't send people out there to be fucking thugs.
Well, I think also too, it didn't matter if he did do it inhumanely. I think MAGA in the right side of the aisle wanted the people to be deported anyway. I mean, so
I think this that bullshit because you didn't hear shit from them. You didn't hear MAGA them. Nobody on the Republican side really talking about Obama deporting anybody. That's where the hypocrisy is at, Tim.
I remember hearing about.
The face you make, no, we did not hear that shit.
Yeah, I remember hearing about kids in cages under Obama.
Yeah, but with kids being in cages, that was the Democrats still getting at him. You didn't hear shit from the Republicans about that shit.
I think the difference is, and somebody in the comments made a good point about Team Cawthon said he wasn't bragging about it. I think in Trump's case, some of the disdain or problems people have with President Trump, it's just because of his fucking mouth. Like right now, we're talking about him running for a third term. That's coming to him because of his mouth. I mean, so a lot of it is because he likes to talk shit. If you like to troll, then understand there's consequences to trolling. And MAGA don't seem to understand that. He should be able to tell jokes and troll people, and the Democrats should shut the fuck up and just let him do it.
But see, here's the thing: his jokes are not funny.
They're funny to MAGA. They're funny to MAGA.
Well, we already know MAGA's mental state is they're not well. They're not well. They need to be looked at. Somebody should have call who's the head of the World Health Organization. Call them. Maybe they can answer as to what the fuck is wrong with those people.
Well, I'll tell you something too. A lot of the stuff that they claim is a joke, even MAGA doesn't laugh. When Trump is out campaigning or holding a rally or something, and he says I should run for president in 2020, nobody in the audience is laughing. They're usually applauding it. They're not treating it like it's a joke. Even MAGA treats his statements like they're serious. You don't see anybody busting up laughing when he says he's going to run again. So
you don't see anybody calling him out either, Tim.
No, because they believe it's true. MAGA believes it's true just like the Democrats believe it's true. And they just favor him running again and the Democrats don't. But both sides of the aisle believe he will run again when he said he's going to run again.
Listen, he don't follow laws now. What's going to change that? Unless you get rid of the Supreme Court, what the fuck is going to change him following the laws and disregarding the Constitution? What's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him?
So should we get a Trump 48 hat? Moran says
absolutely not. People need to get their asses out in their midterms and get those weak fuckers out of there. Mike Johnson is a weak, grinder ass little motherfucker. He's a weakling. He's weak. Pam Bondi, weak, lying, scary bitch.
Well, she's
Kristi Noem. You walk around here in these jeans and that hat, bitch. What you out there trying to get growth? That's what you're trying to do. If you ain't getting shit at home, listen. I'm here to say the shit that they can't say. I'm here to say the shit that the Democrats can't say.
Well, and Moran says Miss Mo better in Gen X and there's sandwich for 2028. So
oh hell no! I ain't fucking with no salmon. It's too high. The meat too high.
Oh my God! You know, I asked in the beginning of the program, Miran. Y'all see that comment? Miran miss more better than Chittix or something. You know, I asked that in the beginning of the program. Is groceries, you know, coming down in your area? Some folks are claiming that under Trump, he's brought groceries down.
They're lying. The truth ain't in them.
Ooh.
And the only thing I can honestly say that is down or stable is gas. Gas has been stable. That has not gone up. That's the only thing. But as far as anything else, everything went up.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the reduction in grocery prices either. I don't know where they're getting it from, but
People be lying, Tim. People lie just to make themselves look good.
What would be the purpose of, if you're paying more for groceries, what would be the purpose of lying and telling people otherwise?
Because it's their men in the office. They gotta uphold their men to make it seem like Trump is doing this amazing job, and he's not. Look how many people has lost their jobs under him.
Bro,
how many people are that are about to lose their health insurance under them? How many people are about to lose their SNAP benefits? How much did the farmers lose? It's a lose. He's the only motherfucker that's winning.
Well, they're going to suggest that the Democrats are the reason that all of these the government shutdown is continuing.
He lying. They lying. Like, again, he could use the nuclear power. They don't need them. Just like the Democrats would have the filibuster, they have the nuclear power. They can open it up whenever they get ready.
So why
they would only need 51. They would only need 51 votes, not 60.
So then let me ask you this. By the way, Cody, you say Vance and Carson 2028. You talking about Ben Carson?
He's not. He wouldn't even certify Vance. They think he fucks with Vance. No, he don't fuck with Vance like that. He know how Vance really feels about him.
You say
he said in an interview last year when he was doing the interview, he said, "I really don't need a vice president." Look that shit up. You saying Trump said he doesn't need a vice president? Yeah, Trump said he doesn't. He said he doesn't need a.
Yeah, he did say that. He did. Well, I played that before, but
check your P3DO ass up.
But the viewer is stating that Trump is not going to run for a third term. He's saying it will be J.D. Vance with a running mate of Ben Carson.
You said Ben Carson?
That's what it says.
But look, that's cute.
Yeah.
That won't happen. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't imagine Ben Carson.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news for them, but that won't happen.
But what about the notion that the Democrats are leaderless right now, and they don't? I mean, people believe the Democrat Party is finished, which is crazy, but they believe the Democrat Party is going to have to.
But that's because they're not going to sit and listen to anything that any Democrat has to say. They're going to, they're not saying anything. All they do is fear mongering. They're just going to go around and keep spreading propaganda about the Democratic Party, as opposed to going to look and see who's in the Democratic positions and see what they got going on. They're not going to listen to none of that. That's the same way they didn't listen to Kamala when she was speaking. They did. All they heard is, I won't change a thing that Biden did. But they didn't keep reading like they do with the Bible. They only read one part of the Bible and don't read what the rest says.
Ooh.
That's how they move. Like King Finn calling them antinomians.
Yeah, he does say that. But I mean, even still, who is the leader currently of the Democratic Party?
Listen, you have a few. You got the AOCs. You have Cory Booker and Hakeem Jeffries. You have a few people in there that are very much qualified and very much not afraid.
Hakeem Jeffries, you think Hakeem Jeffries? I don't know. The Democratic Party don't seem to even favor Hakeem that much.
Well, because of that's all because of that Israel shit. When they signed off on the first time, and they was like, "Oh, you support Israel like that? We can't fuck with you." You know what I'm saying? So it's and that's what I say. People have to pay attention on how things move and why they move.
Yet Trump has support like none other. The Democrats are in disarray. Trump has.
Well, listen, they're gonna support him. They're gonna be poor supporting them. I guess they're gonna figure out, the Democrats should have opened the government back up, not knowing that this ACA was scheduled to expire in December anyway. The ACA was already going to expire, but the moving forward, they have nothing to replace that stuff.
Well, let me ask you, before I move it on from here, I just want to ask you, if Trump is doing such a piss poor job as you're stating, why the hell do you believe MAGA is still hardcore behind Trump to the point where even the farmers and folks that are allegedly hurting, they're saying I would not, it's not like I'm gonna vote Democrat, they still are behind Trump.
Cult. That's cult behavior. That's cult behavior. It's nothing else to even say. And being he's a sociopath, what they do, he knows how to charm them. He done charmed them to make them. He demonized the people that weren't actually a threat, and they take it and run with it. First of all, we know a lot of that shit happened because of racism. And that's just point blank period, whether they want to talk about it or not. And if it wasn't about racism, why did everything Trump was doing coming in there targeting black and brown people? I'll wait.
Some shit works better than others. Miss Mobetta?
Well, and the proof is in the numbers. The proof is in the numbers. Look how many generals and all high-ranking people. There's only one black woman that kept her job, that fought for her job. And what's her name? Lisa Cook?
Yeah, the DEI stuff I find problematic as well, but this is what we voted for. This is what we as a country voted for.
Stop saying we. I did not vote for that.
We as a country, Miss Mobetta.
No,
this is what
you can separate them. It's no longer a country, Tim. This is just a place. He's turned it into a business. And see, the reason why this can't be ran as a business, because how many times does businesses fail?
Would you agree with this phrase, with this following sentence? Trump is our president.
No. He's your president.
So he's not your president.
I don't claim him as my president, period. And I don't have to.
He is the president of America, right?
Okay, well, if that's what you want to call him, go right ahead.
You are American, right?
I am.
Okay, he's your president then.
I don't claim him as my president.
So if a foreigner
that's
came,
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So
it's going to be horrible for him before it's all said and done. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Y'all be prepared for another 9/11, God forbid. Be prepared for any of that. It's going to happen.
Damn. All right, Mr. Mobetta, you're scaring me.
MAGA won't believe it because they got their head so far possessed. They thinking that he's doing leadership. He's just a trick. They know he's easily bought and sold. You can see that. They gave him a fucking $400 million plane that is going to cost him $1 billion to fix. Is that winning? How is that winning?
It's winning when it ain't your fucking money. I got to move it on.
What? What'd you say?
It's winning when it ain't your money.
Yeah, you're right. Now that's our money.
Right. So they gave him a plane that's going to cost $1 billion of somebody else's money to fix.
$1 billion, and they got space on our land. Dummies. The fuck is wrong with those people?
I got to go. That's your president. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. And by the way, Moran says the Dems are 50 special interest groups in one trench coat. They are a rudderless mess. The Republicans were hijacked by MAGA. MAGA booed to two parties. They failed America. We need a third option. So he's saying that the Democrats are 50 special interest groups in one trench coat. They are a rudderless mess. The Republicans were hijacked by MAGA. Boo to two parties. You don't like either one of the parties. He's saying they failed America. We need a third option. I agree with that. I've said this many times on the program. And tap the screen, by the way. I haven't missed a listen in that. We should be way up higher than we are. Tap the screen. Get your guy up to 60,000. Appreciate that. Handsome conservative. Folks, help your boy out getting that hat mustache go. Certainly help support the program. I have stated that in regards to what Moran is saying many times, that it is much easier to be a Republican politician than it is to be a Democrat politician. Because a Democrat politician, as he's rightfully pointed out, 50 special interest groups, The Democrats do have to cater to a lot more people. They got to listen to what the Muslims said. They got to hear about what the blacks want. They got to hear about what the Hispanics want, the feminists, the LGBTQ, trans, all of this stuff. They got to listen to all. The Republican Party, for the most part, if you are a Republican politician, as long as you listen to and cater to straight white Christian males, you can do very well. That's all you really got to worry about. Straight white Christian males. The rest of the party, even the women, even the African Americans and Hispanics in the Republican Party, for the most part, if you listen to what they believe America should be like, it is in line with straight white Christian males. But in the Democrat Party, you got to listen to all of this shit. They're getting thrown stuff about Gaza and all of this shit at them. So it is significantly more challenging to be a Democratic politician with, as he says, 50 different things under the same trench coat. It is harder. It is harder. You got to listen to all of those groups. You got to cater to all of those groups. The right, as a conservative, you don't have to cater to all of that. You're catering to you're not catering to folks talking about police brutality or systemic racism or how Muslims get. You don't have to be concerned with any of that if you're a conservative. For the most part, you're telling them that shit don't exist. All of that stuff ended hundreds of years ago. You need to get over it. Stop race baiting. Anyway, looking in the comments, now they are purple, says Scotty Adi. What do you mean purple? So are you saying that the Republicans lack humility? I'm simply saying the Republicans have a large voter base in this country sold up, which is straight white Christian males, which represent a large portion of this country, and their wives. So I don't know what percentage of the voter block that represents, but straight white Christian males and their wives represent a whole large portion, and that's what they focus on. That is predominantly what they focus on. Democrats have to support everyone. MAGA just needs to provide cover to racism, says Conrad also. Damn, yikes. Don't forget that are also fruitcakes in a trench coat. I'm not even going to go with the fruit. I understand what you're saying. I'll leave it at that. Bro, if you have any integrity, you take this stream to the next grocery store and buy food for the next week on camera. That's a great challenge, Clyde, but that's going to change depending on what part of the country you're in. Just like if I go and take the stream and purchase fuel, if I buy gas in California or Pennsylvania, it's going to be a lot different than if I buy it in Missouri or Texas. I mean, so even still, people will be like, that's not in my area. Anyway, going back to the box, let me try to miss any super chats. I don't think I did. So continuing on, tap the screen, get us up to 60,000. You guys can make that happen. I'm going to ask that you guys do that. Funny Entity on Instagram, I think is saying that. We'll see if we can bring them up live. Tap the screen, get your boy likes on up to about 60,000. We'll take the next caller there. Been having some trouble bringing up Instagram callers. I'm trying to make that happen. Thank you for that support there, Mr. Fortune. I think that was. Thank you very much. Because we don't like what he's doing or that he has to break laws to do so. Well, they favor it. They favor what Trump is doing. How many live streams do you have going? We're currently on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all simultaneously there, Conrad, or better yet, Scott. Scott asked that question. Why does no one admit that Trump, like him or not, has done things for this country that no other president has ever done? I don't like everything, but he's got balls. Kicked ass on the border. Well, Knight Byrne, I get criticized heavily for him for saying that he done a good job on the border. I agree with him kicking ass on the border. But when you say, why don't they give him credit? Well, the man said, I hate all Democrats. What do you think they're going to do? Say he's a great president? I mean, listen, I get that the left attacks Trump constantly, but it's not like Trump is just sitting back peacefully trying to run the country and be great, and the left is just attacking him for no reason. The Trump launches 1 million attacks. You guys are constantly defending his shit as trolling or jokes. They're not going to give him credit, and I'll submit this to you. If someone was doing a great job running this country, but trolling Trump, he wouldn't give him credit either. So if you think Trump is doing a good job and you're wondering why they're not giving him credit, it's because of all the unnecessary shit that comes out of his mouth. He don't have to do that stuff. You don't have to insult the post of him dropping shit on the protesters that you guys on the right loved. That ain't necessary to make America great again. You expect those protesters to brag about things he's doing great for the country while he's doing that? I think the problem is MAGA does not believe there should be any consequence for Trump doing this stuff. You believe if he's doing a good job, the liberals should celebrate that. And if he insults the liberals should just let that go. Doesn't work that way in real life. It does not work that way in real life. The guy enjoys pissing people off. You just don't agree when the people get pissed off. That's not realistic. That is not realistic. Give me one significant economic indicator that is better under this year of President Trump. I don't have one. I'll agree he did a good job on the border, but economically, I don't think inflation, the job numbers are terrible. I guess gas prices are stable. I'll give them that. In fact, gas prices have been cheap in some areas. So I'll if you want to give them credit for gas prices, I know some folks do not believe the president has anything to do with gas prices until the president they don't like is in office while gas prices are rising, then they blame it on him. So listen, regardless if he has anything to do with gas prices or not, I believe that the way the country is running, when you're president, you're going to get credit for it or criticism for it, whether you are in control of it or not. So if gas prices drop, Trump's going to get credit. If they rise, he's going to get criticism. And right now, most of the economic indicators in this country are not favorable. They're not favorable. And I'll submit it to you this way. If the current economy was in its same state under President Biden, the right would be complaining. If the grocery prices, inflation rate, the job numbers, if the country was in the exact same state economically as it is now, the right would be complaining. You would not be celebrating this economy if Biden was in office. So that's the point I'm making. Looking in the comments, you are just a big mouth, says Foster. Put me in the old, remember Morton Downey Jr.? Foster says you are just a big mouth. Foster, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate your input. Are you concerned that Congress is unwilling to act as a check and balance on Trump? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am very concerned. I am more concerned than I let on. Very concerned. By the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 60,000. We'll take the next caller at 60,000. We are a MAGA-friendly program. We've been MAGA-friendly since day one, always have been, always will be. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well. We make the solemn promise that we don't block, ban, or censor any damn body. We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. If you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle, do your boy a solid. Give your boy a sub if you happen to be watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the program. If you're watching on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, feel free to follow the program. We're here most weekdays. Anyway, these are the times we need to think like Einstein. We can't fix our problems with the same thinking we used to when we created them. As long as, I'm just going to say it like this. As long as you got Trump in the background trolling and insulting people and things like that, people are not going to think with a clear head. His insulting and trolling is designed so that you don't think with a clear head. So I hear what you're saying there, my Thrawn, or whatever the case may be, but as long as he's doing that, there are people who are emotional. And when you're constantly playing to people's emotions, deliberately trying to anger and piss people off, it is going to be successful on some people. It is just going to happen. And he's constantly doing that. So you're going to have people that are acting out just solely based on him doing that day in and day out. People disappear in Chicago and don't come back, says John Dale Bailey. Good evening, John. Good evening, Dale, by the way. Says no clue, no due process. Oh, wow. He's saying people are disappearing in Chicago and they do not come back. He says there's no due process. They're not just after criminals. They're grabbing hard-working immigrants who have businesses. So that's what he's saying on the ground in Chicago. I don't think the MAGA, I think the Democrats already know that or already feel that, and I don't think the MAGA side cares about that. That's my opinion. I think that both sides kind of already know that that's happening to some degree, and they're stuck in their feelings on that, and it's going to be that way. I think the left side believes that, yeah, innocent people that just happen to be brown or maybe even black are being grabbed up. Alligator Alcatraz, they said hundreds of people, their families do not even know where they're at now. I think the right already kind of knows that's happening, and they're glad that it's happening. I think the right feels like if you didn't want to disappear, you should never have come to America illegally. I don't think they find anything wrong with it at all. Are we at 60,000? Tap the screen, get your boy lights on up. We'll take the next caller at 60,000. Make Argentina great again, says Lloyd. $40 billion to Argentina. Wow. No one would have expected that. When we're giving Trump credit for doing things that are good for the country, does MAGA believe that $40 billion to Argentina is a good thing? Do they believe that that is part of making America great again? $40 billion to Argentina. I'll go ahead and take the next caller now. We'll go to Andy. Good evening, Andy. If they've been here 4 years or more with businesses and they're illegal, guess what? It's illegal, period, says DP. True, but it's the empathy argument that you don't give credit to that the left does. Andy, good evening.
Hello.
Hey. So we're talking about Trump indicating that he may go for a third term. The right says it's all a joke. What say you?
Oh, I think he prays for that, but I think his health is already so bad I don't worry about that too much.
Why do you say his health is bad?
Have you seen the man?
Yeah, I mean, the guy still holds a ridiculous schedule, Andy.
Just compare pictures of him from a year ago, not even 5 years ago, to now.
Doesn't that happen to all presidents, though, they age?
Not like, I don't, like Trump already had mental decline going in. There's no way he makes it to the next election. Just, that's a pipe dream. I mean, he's already ancient. He was already the oldest man to ever run for president. Yeah. And currently, have you seen the polls? The polls do not favor Donald Trump, not even a little bit. Like he is in dire straits of being where he was with the pandemic.
Do you agree?
That's how pissed off America is.
Do you agree with some of my callers on the left that suggest that if there was an election held today, Kamala would beat Trump?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
He only won by 1.4%.
Yeah.
And he fired 1 million people. Like, I'm pretty sure some of them people he fired fucking would vote for her.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, he's definitely made.
Special elections are going. They're not going to Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely made.
Lucky to hold the House through this term.
So
it's like all the people that drop out and all these little special elections that pop up. Shit, Democrats are making gains on them left and right.
Now, Bruce A in the comments says, last I checked, Trump was ahead by 1 point in the polls. And I heard that also.
Yeah.
I heard that he was ahead.
Where? His polls this week were so bad that he told Fox News they had a bad pollster. Where did y'all see that bullshit?
I saw it on Fox News last week.
Telling Fox, your pollster's so bad that ain't a good week for him.
Well, first thing I want to know is I wonder who they're comparing him to in the polls. Because the Democrats don't have a leader.
Well, no, what they're polling him as is, what I saw was, how are you doing on the economy? Only 34% of the country thought he was doing good on the economy.
That makes sense. I kind of wonder well, I got some viewers watching now that say that, grocery prices in their area and things like that are coming down.
Coming down?
Yeah.
Maybe the beef from Argentina might have offset some of that Brazil tariff, but he just tariffed Canada another 10% because they played a Ronald Reagan ad pointing out the fact that tariffs are bad. Like, that's wild to me. That he will be pissed off because they played a Reagan ad. Let's be honest.
Well, and let me ask you that, because you hear MAGA often talking about snowflakes and people voting on emotion. You hear about the phrase, fuck your feelings. Why is MAGA not crying out? You actually imposed tariffs on the whole country because of a television commercial. Why do you think MAGA's not saying anything about that? Because that does look kind of snowflake-like.
Because they only care about freedom of speech and shit when it's them. It's only when it impacts them that they care. They could give two fucks about anybody else on this planet, except the people they hate. And they want to get rid of them.
Oh.
I mean, they pretty much, like, they have laid it out now. You cannot defend anything they do at this point. It is that bad. Like, it's easy to play devil's advocate when there's only a little bit of turmoil, but when the world is collapsing, other countries are looking at us. Like, how many orders are on the books for corn, soybeans?
Let me ask you, does that almost sound like you're indicating you don't think Trump has done anything good?
Whatever he's done good has been offset by. He ripped up the east wing of the damn White House.
Yeah, but
I'm still not over that.
But you got folks that are pointing out that other presidents have done renovations at the White House as well.
Not ripped out the entire east wing. Let's be honest. Barack Obama repaved the tennis court to have a basketball court. Big fucking deal. He didn't even touch the structure. One of them added a movie theater, which Donald Trump destroyed. I hope he at least kept the logs and all, because we know how much he loves art. The archivist.
Yeah. So President Trump has done nothing good for America at all that you can think of.
Just look at his Truth Social account. It does nothing but denigrate Democrats, immigrants, and people he don't like. Like, he spends all day hating on folks. How the hell? And Republicans say that it's Democrats that divided this country. We have never had a Democratic president go, I'm not president of everybody.
Yeah, I don't like the red state, blue state thing, and to say I hate Democrats and all that. But in the comments, full chat in the comments talks about, look, President Trump is paying for the ballroom or paying for the addition to the White House. So who cares? In other words,
so he said. That's what he said about the wall too. I'll believe it when I see it. When all is said and done, if it's actually paid by other people, that's fine. First of all, it's gaudy as hell. Why would you make an extension bigger than the building itself? And actually, now the building's smaller because you demolition part of it. He also said, I'm not going to touch the White House's original structure. Remember, he said that too. Please ask them how I should know when he's lying to me and when he's telling me the truth.
And that's a great point. As he started out by saying the addition is not going to touch the original building. He said it was going to cost $200 million. Then it went to $230. Now it's at $300. He said things that have turned out to be false. How do you know when he says that people are going to pay for the addition that may not turn out to be false? That is a great point. That is a really good point.
Plus, he said Mexico was going to pay for the wall. They didn't. Like, he has a history of lie. Like, it's not just this lie. It's I don't believe this because he already told me this lie, and this lie.
Well, certainly on the White House edition, he everything. I won't say everything, but a lot of things he said has turned out not to be accurate because he's had to correct them. But in the comments, someone is saying that.
Wait. Can I add something real quick? If Republicans care so damn much about the JE files, why can't we swear in that Democrat real quick? We could get that done.
You talking about the Epstein? I don't think they do care about the Epstein files, Andy.
They don't. That's why they won't swear her in. Yeah. That is the vote that gets us the files, y'all. That chick that Mike Johnson sitting there got on hold is the one vote we need to get those files. Why aren't Republicans throwing a bitch fit?
Yeah, I don't believe. Here's my take on it. I believe that many on the right probably believe that Trump is in the Epstein files, or at the very least, well, I think they admitted that, but they believe that the Epstein files are probably going to be damning to either him or someone he is protecting. And they don't want that to happen and risk having Trump taken from our leadership because they think he's doing a great job. So I don't think MAGA is going to trade Trump for another president on the right, or a particular, or even possibly somebody on the left, I guess, over the Epstein files.
They can quit telling me about them fucking kids. Okay. Because if they don't care about the Epstein files and they don't want kids to have SNAP and they don't want kids to have health care, please quit telling me about my body.
Well,
and see your way out the door, because you don't care about the kids who are starving because we cut off USAID. You don't care because we only did that to get rid of an Elon Musk fucking lawsuit. But y'all don't care about that. You don't care if those kids starve. You don't care if the world starves. It pisses me off.
Well, as they say, Trump has done so much good, they're not going to throw him under the bus for something as small as the Epstein files or one.
What good? Where's all this good? I'm waiting.
They see the border. They
It's
see
in their minds.
Well, I'm just telling you.
I cannot live in fantasy world with them. This is reality. The price of gas has nothing to do with Donald Trump unless OPEC is trying to piss him off and lower the price of the dollar. That's the only time that happens. And why in America, with the petrol being tied to the dollar, would we want so cheap a gas? Like, we would want gas to be reasonable, but we don't want gas to be too damn cheap because then the dollar has no fucking buying power. What is wrong with people? I do not understand.
Well, like tax money going to immigrants that they perceive. And for instance, Marissa in the comments says, Tim, if other people paid for a hotel of immigrants on the South Lawn, is it still so who cares situation? No, it would not be. I don't think immigrants should be on the South Lawn no matter who's paying for it. But they view Trump as, getting all of these unknown immigrants out of the country that they believe were released from insane asylums and prisons like Trump told them. So they're going to get a man credit.
Talk about the tunnels at all, though. We have tunnels into this country. We had one that ran from Tijuana to a place in San Francisco that they went in. That thing had rolling sidewalks, fucking ventilation.
Wait a minute.
I'm not kidding.
Tijuana, wait. Tijuana, Mexico, and San Francisco is hundreds of miles apart.
Yeah, that was on the major news like 10 years ago. And that was 10 years ago we knew about them. I have not heard them talk about them tunnels yet. You are not going to tell me that. I'll send you videos, Tim.
You sure? Tijuana you sure there was
it was a big news story. It was like 10 years ago. It was huge. It was on PBS. It was on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes did a whole hour on it.
Tijuana to San Francisco.
They did a bust on a house. I think it was San Francisco.
That can't be right.
And they went in and they opened the floor up and they went down this hole, and this thing was bored out clean. And it had sidewalks, rolling sidewalks with electricity. There were lights in it. There was air conditioning, and there was fucking ventilation.
I think you're talking about San Diego, though. It can't be San Francisco, Andy. It can't be. That's San Francisco from Tijuana is probably a 7-hour drive at highway speeds.
I'll look it up. I may be but it was far away. It was hundreds of miles. So it wasn't close. Okay. That's why it was such a big deal. And if there's one of those, there's 100 of those.
That's a hell of a length. That would be one of the longest tunnels in the country. That would be like 600 miles or something like. I can't imagine that. I mean, how do you dig a 600-mile tunnel in secret? I think you're talking about San Diego, probably. That would. Give
me a minute, and I'll look it up and send it to you. But I do want you to know, like those tunnels, like they had rolling sidewalks that they just put stuff on.
I've seen that. Yeah.
From one point to the other, people were walking through it. They had little golf carts down there. It was a major bust.
Yeah.
The dude in the house was the purveyor for like 2 or 3 counties. So it was a big deal. Wow. I'll look it up real quick. But yeah, that happens all over America. We never talk about that. He acts like that shit he's doing at the border that's costing us how much money? Billions of dollars, when that's not necessary. Obama deported more people with less money. Joe Biden deported more people.
Well, but but Obama's deportations.
But we want to go in, and we're making all these children in America. That's what I was looking at when I talked to you. There are all these children in America that there was a memo this month that they'll give 14-year-olds and older $2,500 to self-deport. To where? What is a 14-year-old going to do out in the world on its own?
They don't care about that. They figure if you're 14 and you're here on your own, I guess you can go somewhere else too.
Well, a lot of them are here on their own because their parents got called away from it and deported.
Yeah. Well, Alligator Alcatraz, all them folks are missing.
Picking up all these people, they're not going back to make sure they got a family.
No. You know the folks from Alligator Alcatraz. You know the folks from Alligator Alcatraz are missing, don't you?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't want them to talk about the kids in the cages when we got kids all over America now that are parentless.
I see in the comments, Alta Sim said, well, why don't you keep them at your house then? I don't think they care about these people, Andy.
They don't.
So.
They don't. Because there's a system, and the system, yes, is broken, and we need to fix it. But Republicans aren't going to fix it. Republicans can give two shits about the American public. They care about billionaires and they care about themselves, but yet somehow or another they convinced a bunch of poor white people to vote for them because they think they're better than somebody else. That Southern strategy's been working a long fucking time, and I'm sick of it.
I'll leave it at that, Andy. I appreciate you coming through. This is what we voted for. This is our administration.
Thanks, Sam. Have a good day.
You too. Appreciate
And happy
it.
Halloween if I don't see you before Friday.
Oh, boo. Come on back anytime. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Very lazy thumbs in here. I'm eking along because I'm having to ask you guys. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache go. Just eking along. Barely making it happen. But thank you, folks, the few that are. No, we didn't vote for this, Andrew. We as a nation, we did vote for it as a nation. Not necessarily 20 billion to Argentina was not a flat grant. It was a currency swap to enable Argentina to gain access to dollars as they rebuild. I don't, something, in my opinion, it really don't matter what it was. You're talking about making America great. You're only going to focus on Americans first. Why is Argentina being looked out for this early in the fucking game when so many Americans are struggling? Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate your support. Thank you, Lewis, with the hat and mustache. Yeah. But yeah, there's plenty of Americans still struggling. Focus on them first, then you can look at Argentina. If your statement is America first, there shouldn't be any American suffering while you're looking out for Argentina. Fix what's going on here, and then if there is something if you want to then work with Argentina or something like that in the future, then so be it. But right now, Americans are struggling. American farmers could use that $40 billion bailout, not to mention a whole lot of other groups of people in this country. That's what he ran on. He ran on America first, yet Argentina is being helped out before Americans are. So technically, it's Argentina first. I mean, they're getting assistance before Americans are. Gas is $2.98 in Florida and $3.16 in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. Well, that's where the people are. I mean, gas is going to be higher in more populated areas, and you're picking all of the more populated areas of Florida. Voters don't vote, money does. And that's a problem, and that is true. But bailing him out, I mean socialism, and they didn't want socialism because they don't know what socialism is. Well, I think they're okay with socialism as long as it goes to the people they favor. I mean, listen, if Trump gives a welfare mom money, particularly if they're a person of color, they're going to have more complaints than helping out farmers that supported Trump. In both cases, it's giving money to people, but what a farmer works, so he should get. I mean, they're going to have a reason, but they're going to be okay if Trump helps out the farmer. So it's just the way they view things in that area. Looking in the comments here, we'll go ahead and continue on. And thank you, folks that are tapping the screen, get us up to 70,000. Tim, there is a case in Boston to get money out of politics. Good luck with that shit. Somebody may murk you. Somebody may actually murk you if you get too close to succeeding at that. Too many folks are making money in politics that want somebody to take it out.
I spoke with the president at length before he left on this trip to the Middle East, and he and I are both so frustrated. The Democrats are perfectly happy to do all this damage while they play political stunts. We can hardly believe that they're willing to go along with this on the gambit and the false narrative that they've created. And so again, Republicans are voting and advocating for an open government, and Democrats are doing the opposite. They are the ones keeping the government closed and bringing an end to these services and personnel and policies. That's just a simple fact.
What he continue to say is it's simple math. We don't have the votes to do it on our own. We need the Democrats, and the Democrats are voting to keep the government closed. Now, I will just say this, and I see the comments. Jeremy says, I hate these pieces of shit. I will say this. The Democrats do hold some partial responsibility for the government being closed, but it's hard for me to ignore the fact that the Republicans are blaming the Democrats for not helping while doing nothing, absolutely nothing to encourage the Democrats to come along with them. Nothing. Trump is saying awful shit about the Democrats every goddamn day, and people are acting shocked. Why won't the Democrats come to the table and work with the Republicans? Nothing to get these folks to work with you. if I need your help on something, the last thing I need to be doing while I need your help is saying awful shit about you every day. Nothing at all to get them to work with him. I just don't see it. I can see where there's plenty of room for Democrats to be against Trump out of spite because he's saying nothing but awful shit. Going back to one of my subscribers, MAGA Reacts, good evening, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. Shutdown continues, and you hear Mike Johnson saying it's the Democrats' fault. What say you?
We've already had this conversation. Yeah, it's their fault.
Why won't the Republicans do anything to give the Democrats some kind of incentive? Notice you don't hear the Republicans saying we tried this or we tried that or we tried that with the Democrats. They're not coming up with anything.
Yeah, because there's nothing that's going to make the Democrats happy. I mean, they want so much. Like, they want us to continue subsidizing Obamacare, which doesn't work. It needs to be rehauled. It needs to be fixed. It doesn't, they want to address the symptoms, but they don't want to fix the problem, which is what they said when we're trying to fix the border. I mean, you got
a major detractor, I guess, just from your voice only. Marissa says, I hate this caller. He just came on, Marissa.
I gotta figure out a way how to sound better, because when I listen, I don't like how I sound on your lives either. I need a better microphone or something.
You sound fine. I can hear you fine. So
yeah, you can understand me, but I just don't like how I sound.
Okay, well, it is what it is. So in other words, you're saying that nothing is going to work with the Democrats. So should the Republicans just give up?
I mean, the Democrats need to give up, get the what's it called? Get the government working, and they could do whatever they want when they win the House again.
Do you think they're going to give up with Trump saying horrible shit about them every day? Do you think that's an incentive for them to give up?
What does Trump have to do with the government and the country? This is for the country, not for Trump. Like,
does he not leave the country?
Really holding the government hostage because their feelings are hurt? Because that's what you've been saying.
It could be. That absolutely could be the case where they're doing this because their feelings are hurt. But you do realize he doesn't have to deliberately try to hurt their feelings, does he?
I mean, he doesn't have to. It's just who Trump is. It's not like he's doing it out of character. That's just his fucking character.
And you do know when people respond, they're not doing it out of character either. There is consequences to fucking with people.
I agree with you.
Okay.
But still, like, this is above all that. This is
it's not going to be. If it's above all that, he wouldn't be doing it. Why would you do this in a time when we all are admitting Americans are suffering? Why would he do that right now? I mean, like, you can't shut it. You can't.
First of all, you're assuming that that's what's stopping things.
No, I'm not. I am assuming it, but I feel confident that with him doing that stuff all the time, it's probably making Democrats. Because look, let's just be clear. Even if the Democrats work with the Republicans to get the country back open, they're going to still blame the Democrats. They'll just find other shit. They're not going to say, thank God the Democrats came and worked with us and the Democrats get credit. They're going to just switch and start blaming them for something else.
And that's fine. That's how it's supposed to go. And then in the election, the Democrats are going to argue their side. And then the people are going to pick. I mean, this is just normal politics, you know?
Then I'm just simply saying, based on what's going on, if I'm a Democrat, I don't know if I work with him either. I mean, you are admitting there is no upside for the Democrats to do this.
Well, the upside is you let the Republicans do what they want, and if they fuck up, you're in charge next election.
Well, if the country stays closed.
But if you fight them and you get blamed for the shutdown, then guess what? You're not going to win the next election.
Yeah, and see that's where I may differ from you or some of my beloved MAGAs, that the president gets blamed when the country is shut down. As President Trump himself stated, it's the president's job to bring the people together and work something out. I don't think any shutdown in history, people look back and blame the Republicans or Democrats. They always say that happened under that president. They don't blame nobody's going to be talking about Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer 20 years from now. It's going to be blamed on Trump. They're not
Listen,
even.
we-
They're
we
even
talk about
saying
shutdown,
when they
but
say
they're
hold
done.
on when
I
they
don't know
say
what you're talking
when
about.
they say the longest shutdown happened under Trump back in his first term. Nobody's saying which party was responsible for it. They're already blaming Trump for the first shutdown.
But even then, like really, they weren't. I mean, when the election came, no one cared that he had the longest shutdown. Was that even brought up in before the in 2024 during that election? It wasn't brought up once.
I don't know. You know, it depends. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, but in the midterms, I think it might matter. I don't know because in the midterms, you know, who's ever in office, they normally do bad. And under Trump, everybody expects Trump not to do good in the midterms, which is why the gerrymandering is happening.
That's the other funny part. You know, the same time 4 years ago, Trump was has way worse like ratings or whatever. The same time 4 years ago was right after January 6th, and nobody wanted anything to do with Trump. So if he dug himself out of that hole without even being president 4 years ago, what makes you think he's not going to dig himself out of this hole?
That's a great point. I can't argue with that. That's a great point. He can dig himself out of any hole, but the problem is, just like with January 6th, he dug himself out of that hole. But a lot of people that surrounded him, they paid a permanent price. And the same thing with this shutdown. Yeah, Trump will be fine, but there may be Congress and senators that lose their jobs, governors that lose. I mean, that's what's been happening since Trump became a politician. Is he's been surviving every damn thing, but people around him have been paying the price.
All that stuff happened because the Democrats were abusing their power. They're abusing the law to go after those people. I mean, you guys talk shit about how Trump's going after Comey and all them, but you forget that a lot of his friends did go to jail, including the guy that was just saying he needs a third term. He went to jail. Roger Stone went to jail. How many fucking Republicans were sent to jail just for being Trump's friend?
Well, I don't think
January 6th, just straight up like other things.
You think Steve Bannon went to jail just for being Trump's friend?
Fuck yeah.
You don't think he actually committed a crime?
I mean, I say a little bit of A and B. Roger Stone, for sure, I don't think committed any crime. Roger Stone just didn't want to. He didn't want to share his conversations with Trump with the Democrats, and I think that's why he went to jail. I think what's his name had to do with the wall and taking money to build the wall where he had no.
Yeah, Steve Bannon took money to build the wall and didn't build a wall and didn't get the money back.
What about Flynn? Flynn did nothing, and he lost his opportunity to become the Secretary of Defense or whatever job he was aiming for. And he had, you know how many of Trump's people had to hire lawyers and spend millions just for the fucking Russiagate subpoenas and shit? Just to be interviewed by the fucking federal government. They spent
I'm going to tell you, the Russiagate is just like folks that are saying that Trump is not running for a third term. He's just joking about it. Look, if you keep talking about shit, you can't blame people for saying you're trying to do that shit. Trump is the one that started talking about Russia. If you got Hillary Clinton's emails, look, a lot of Trump's problems are because he won't keep his mouth shut.
I know, but it's also with you guys misinterpreting everything he says.
It's a lot of shit he doesn't have to say though, MAGA. And it's the stuff you don't have to keep saying this stuff. So now we're misinterpreting him running for a third term is what a lot of people are saying. The guy is talking about running for a third term day in and day out, and people are blaming the liberals. Well, you can't take a joke, or you don't understand. Every other fucking month, the guy's talking about he might run for a third term. Steve Bannon is saying it. He's not criticizing Steve Bannon at all. He clearly knows Steve Bannon is out there saying that. How are the Democrats supposed to take it?
The way it works is Bannon says it, then the news people ask Trump about it, and him replying to what Bannon said is all the proof you guys have that he wants to do a third term. He's just replying to the questions the news asked him about what Bannon said.
MAGA, he's not even saying no. When they're asking him, are you going to run for a third term? He's not even saying no. They asked him clearly, would you rule it out? He would not even say no.
Hey, did you watch the Megyn Kelly video from the other day with his son?
No.
Even his son was talking about how much his mouth gets him in trouble. So we agree with you on that part. His mouth does get him in trouble. They were actually making fun of it. But Megyn and Don Jr., they were laughing about how his dad would call him and tell him, oh, I just said something stupid. Get ready to talk about it on Fox News or whatever.
Yeah, and that's my point is that what I don't understand is the MAGA side of the aisle thinks that he should be able to do and say all this shit, and the Democrats should just sit back and shut the fuck up. Otherwise, you got Trump derangement syndrome. You should just let him insult you, troll you, and say whatever the hell he wants. Otherwise, if you speak out, you got derangement syndrome. That makes no sense at all to me.
Funny. It's kind of funny. You tell us we need to let trans people be the way they are. You need to let this guy.
President. This is the president, MAGA. This ain't a trans person. This
It's
is
not like he just started it when he became president. He's been like this for fucking 40, 60 years. He's been like this all his life.
Well, shit, that would make some people argue. Then why the hell did you vote for him if he was left? I mean, the guy is literally as MAGA's claiming that he's joking about violating the Constitution by running again. That's a violation of the Constitution. MAGA said, why would a president joke about violating the Constitution?
He didn't say that. I mean, for one thing, you could always amend the Constitution. I think it's going to be Obama versus Trump. The left is going to do it for Obama's sake. The right's going to do it for Trump's sake. And we're going to let them both run this next.
What the fuck? What?
That's you do it legally. Like, you need the left and the right to both agree to do it, to amend the Constitution. The left do it for Obama, the right do it for Trump.
You don't.
You need Obama versus Trump.
Do you really believe that?
I mean, you need 2/3 of the country to get a constitutional amendment, and I think that's one way you could do it. And if you're desperate, it could be Bill Clinton versus Trump, but I think Obama's the way to go.
I don't even know if I'm not even for sure Obama wants to put his family through that again, because Michelle Obama made it clear she doesn't want to get in politics. I mean, that's a big strain on your family. And by the way, Jay of the Decline says Obama put kids in cages, and CNN blamed it on Trump. That doesn't, unless they blamed it on this would have to be years later. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard that. But
what it is Obama put kids in cages. Someone took a photo of it. The photo pops up 4 years later when Trump did it, and they're like, "Oh, Trump's putting kids in cages," but they showed the Obama picture.
No, yeah,
that's what he's talking about.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But
they used a picture from Obama's time during Trump's time, and they blamed Trump. You know, they went after Trump for it, but Obama also did it.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I think the difference with Obama and Trump's deportations, once again, is Trump running his mouth. It's just Trump comes across as a person who lacks empathy. Like right now, he's talking about we're going to just keep killing people until they stop bringing drugs in our country. It's the way he talks. I mean, he invites enemies by the shit he says. He likes to taunt. He likes to troll. He likes to insult. Obama was never doing that. He comes across as somebody who does not give a fuck about other people. I mean, he stated at Charlie Kirk's funeral, I wish the worst. Why would you say that at a funeral? You wish the worst for your ally, for your adversaries and shit like that. Why would that come up at a funeral?
How much better Kirk is for forgiving his enemies, because Kirk was a good religious guy.
Right.
Trump isn't trying to pretend to be a good religious guy. Trump is Trump. Kirk is was really an angel in some ways, and that's what he was highlighting. Trump was
you said Kirk was an angel? An angel to who?
As far as like being a churchman and doing good, yeah.
And you know something? This is why I keep talking about
like
dog.
Dealt with him personally. I haven't heard a single story from the left or the right of him fucking over anybody or treating anybody bad. Even the people on the left that dealt with him said he was always a gentleman.
Many would suggest he fucked over the whole black community with some of his statements.
I mean, those aren't people that were dealing with him directly. I'm sure there's a lot of black people that work with him, and
I'm sure there are not a lot of black people that work with him. I don't think Charlie Kirk had much. I don't think Charlie Kirk had much of an inroads to the black community at all. I think the guy was criticizing the black community from afar. In fact, the telltale sign is once he got taken out and people started claiming he was a racist. Notice how few videos of Charlie Kirk hanging around black people have popped up. Virtually, he debated a couple of them. He hung around Candace Owens and Kanye West, which doesn't count for shit in the black community. There's nothing else there. There's nothing else there.
Listen, he's traveled the country from top down, left, right.
He wasn't in the hood. You actually got photos of Trump going into a Chick-fil-A or something like that in the hood. You don't have anything of Charlie Kirk hanging around black people at all. At least Trump tried.
He's born and raised in Chicago.
He was born and raised in fucking Arlington Heights. I'm from Chicago. He's raised 30, 40 miles outside of Chicago. Dude was in Arlington Heights. He wasn't in Chicago.
Listen, I'm not a Charlie Kirk expert here. I'm just telling you what
that
I know.
dude ain't got no connection to the black community whatsoever. There's no way in hell he would have been hanging around black people talking like that. No way in hell. He's criticizing Martin Luther King, said Martin Luther King was an awful guy. I mean, like, what part of the black community agrees with that?
No, I don't know. I don't know what he was talking about that day. I know most of this stuff has been debunked or explained. I just don't know all explanations.
I ain't heard shit that's been debunked or explained. And I watched about 20 hours of Charlie Kirk to do live streams. That stuff he said is exactly what he said. I mean, you hear the snippets. When you go and find the long form videos, it's just more of him explaining that in detail. That stuff ain't been debunked. It's been more or less verified.
I'll link you the videos that I've seen, and then you could decide. But a couple of other things I want to talk about real quick.
Sure.
This Houston thing. We don't even know if the guy was black or Spanish or anything. We don't know the race of the guy. The fact that he was just found hanging, and it wasn't even like hanging out to display. This like underpass was like a underpass where
all this
people
damage
sleep.
while they
There was
play
like
political
nothing where you could
stunts.
see him.
Yeah, I
You have to
haven't.
believe that they're
You
willing
know,
to go along with
let
it.
me stop this thing.
And
I
the
heard about that.
and
I have
because
not.
Nick-
I heard Mike brought it up on the program, but I have not even heard the news story. Give me 1 second. I do want to hear that because I haven't heard of it.
Thank you, Jalissa. And now we want to warn you, this next story, hard to hear. A man's body found hanging underneath the East Loop. It happened late last night. Arogochi Iloka joining us near the scene along Kirkpatrick Boulevard. And Arogochi, details from the story, even more grim.
Sadly, that's correct. We're told that the man's body was actually on fire when it was found last night in this spot where officials say they only later realized it was a man's body that was on fire and dangling from a rope on the underside of this 610 freeway. This is video of officers just after 10 p.m. last night looking around after HFD responded to a fire here near the 5000 block of Kirkpatrick and 610. It was Union Pacific employees who first found the scene and called Houston firefighters, first reporting that this was a brush fire. However, that was not the case. Officials say when firefighters put out the flames, they discovered it was a man's body partially set ablaze and hanging from a rope. HPD says those firefighters got the fire out, but the man did not survive. The lieutenant investigating the tragedy says a homeless encampment is here too, but they aren't sure where the man was initially set on fire. She tells us she doesn't think his death was a suicide.
If he's not just hanging, it's like there's also the fire, so then it's like, well, what actually killed him? We don't know that. I mean, of course, that'll be something that, detectives and after the autopsy report comes out.
And the lieutenant you just heard from there says, unfortunately, there were no witnesses around when they first responded to the scene. If you know anything about this investigation or have information.
Okay, you're right. They didn't state, the identity of the guy, so we don't know if he's white, black, or indifferent or whatever the case may be.
You don't even know if he died there. Somebody could have just took a corpse, hang it up, and set
Who
it
the
on
fuck
fire.
does something like that? Who does something like that?
People fuck with corpses all the time.
Ain't nobody
Funeral home or
what are you saying? Somebody may have stumbled upon a corpse and decided. You saying somebody may have stumbled upon a corpse and decided to hang it and set it on fire, huh?
Very possible. He could have been shot, then hung. I mean, I've seen too much fucking.
What the fuck? So somebody stumbled upon a dead body and said, "Let's go ahead and hang this motherfucker and light it up."
Or they could have gotten it from medical, where they let you do. The medical cadavers that they use to teach medical students how to do shit.
Stop! Stop!
But look what fucking Micah. The sad part
Nobody gonna do nothing like that. Ain't nobody gonna risk it. You gonna stumble upon a murder and then desecrate the body by. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing like that.
I'm saying it could have been not a murder. It could have been just some dead body.
Ain't nobody gonna stumble upon a dead body and decide, well, let me go ahead and hang it and set it on fire.
You're saying stumble. I'm saying that it could could be a million things, but
What
then
the
I
fuck?
assumed it was something nefarious. And
That
they're
didn't
like,
happen.
We don't fear monger. This is like the best example of fear mongering I've ever seen in my life.
That didn't happen, MAGA. That what you were suggesting did not happen. I'm not saying the guy was hung by a bunch of angry.
Either. But guess what? You laughed when I said what I said.
What you said was crazy. What you said was straight out the loony bin. Let me say, I'm not saying it's a bunch of angry white dudes. We don't know yet. But what you're saying didn't happen. Now, if there's a homeless camp nearby, a lot of times homeless people do get into fights and arguments over shit, stab each other, stuff like that. But hanging somebody and setting them on fire shows an additional amount of anger. That's pretty personal at that point.
No, but if they were, to kill someone by hanging takes anger. But to take a body that's been dead, it might have been dead for weeks and nobody found it.
Ain't nobody doing that. Nobody taking up, picking up a dead body and hanging it.
From Florida, I've seen so many Florida man stories. My mind goes somewhere else. But obviously, Michael, with his background, thinks, it was probably someone that's colored that was murdered and hung that way.
And Miss Mobetta says and points out you can still be charged with murder even though it was a corpse. Right. Why would you pick up a dead body that nobody discovered and do some shit like that? Now you open yourself up with them charging you for the murder. You may actually destroy the evidence of how the person was taken out and leave them believing that your rope and fire caused the guy's death. Why would you get yourself involved in actual murder by playing with a corpse like that? Nobody's going to do that. That's what you're saying is crazy, man. Ain't nobody going to do no shit like that unless they really fucked up in the head.
I agree with her. It's stupid to do, but it could also be not. I'm like, do you know what a cadaver is?
Yeah, dead body.
No, a cadaver is like a dead body that's like not buried or anything. You give it to a medical place to teach them how to do surgeries and shit. And, if you could take one and set it on fire and set up a stage something under the fucking thing and it wouldn't be a murder.
Ain't nobody gonna do that, man. Ain't nobody, listen, you found a corpse, you either gonna call the police or you gonna get the hell away from it. You're not gonna implicate yourself in what could be a murder. Ain't nobody about to do that.
You keep saying find the corpse. I'm saying he bought the corpse or he got it from like a funeral home that he got it legally. And then he set it on fire.
All right. Let's move on because you're getting worse now. Somebody wouldn't purchase the corpse.
People buy corpses for different reasons. But listen, as crazy as my shit is, I think Michael's way thinking is just as crazy. But we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
This is probably going to turn out to be some kind of racial shit where this guy was deliberately murdered, hung, and set on fire. It's probably gonna go down just like people expect it to, where this is some kind of racially oriented shit. Like I said, homeless people do get in fights all the time. When you start adding a lynching and a setting of fire, it's starting to borderline on Klan type activity. You don't hear this happening too much outside of that type of an event. To me, that's where I'm looking. Just like if a woman turns up, deceased, the first place they go is look at her spouse or they go look at her boyfriend. This has that type of footprint written all over it. The shit you're talking about, has that ever happened before? Has anybody ever done that in the history of America? Picked up a corpse or purchased a cadaver and hung it?
I'm sure it's
I'm not sure it's happened. I've never heard of that.
Oh, one last thing. I have Instacart. I get all my groceries through it. And I have a record of all my groceries for the last 6 to 8 years. And my groceries are definitely cheaper this last month or so.
So just for the month, though. So you only seen this for the month, or has it been something that's been going on that way for a while?
I mean, different items go up and down, but this month specifically, my steak got cheap. I got 3 T-bones, $15 each. That's fucking crazy. I paid $30, $40 even 3 months ago, I want to say.
Now you're in Miami, right?
Yes, Miami, Florida.
I'd be curious to call down to $15 for a T-bone. What was it, a 3-ounce T-bone?
No, they were big. I have pictures. I'll send them to you right now.
They were so big. When them motherfuckers, when you purchased them, were they red or were they brown?
They were red. They were perfect, man. I'll send you pictures.
Motherfuckers was expired.
What's up?
Them motherfuckers was expired. $15 for a T-bone.
Bro, trust me, they were perfect. I'll send you pictures.
I'd have to see them. Yeah, them motherfuckers had on there expired September 23rd or something like that.
No, they were fresh as hell. I got them. I even put them in the freezer for like a week, and they still were perfect when I took them out the freezer.
Okay.
If they were bad, you put them in the freezer, they get way worse really quick. But they wouldn't have lasted a week if they were about to expire.
All right, I'd have to see it. Make sure you don't end up. Somebody said, make you don't have end up with mad cow disease or something like that. All right, MAGA, no finding, no desecrating corpse. I cannot believe you said that. I just can't. That'll probably go down as one of the most memorable things you've ever said on this program. Finding a dead body, hanging it, and setting it on fire. Oh my God. Let me know what you find. We'll talk again, but let me know what you find. But I cannot believe you just said that.
Take care.
All right. All right. By the way, folks, have anybody else ever known anybody to discover a body, hang it, and set it on fire? Pick up a dead body. First of all, who knows how the person passed away, but that's the first thing. Then you're going to wrap a noose around his neck, hang it, and then I guess go down to where it's hanging from because it's hanging off an overpass. So then you'd have to go down below the overpass and say, wow. I don't even know what to say about that. You didn't even call him out. That is crazy. Gangsta Grandma, I did call him out. I thought it was crazy as well. Steve said he will be president at least 3 terms. And you're referring to Steve Bannon, and that's why this keeps coming up. Is Trump going to run for a 3rd term? I get MAGA are claiming it is jokes and all of this other stuff, but it's coming from somewhere.
So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need
an instrument of divine will. Can somebody explain to me what that means? What is he trying to suggest when he says that President Trump is an instrument of divine will? Michael Simmons, appreciate the support. Thank you very much. An instrument of divine will. President Trump, what say you? Like I said, I always bring up that I've been to a couple Trump rallies when he was campaigning last year. And I did have a Trump supporter when we were waiting in line. I had to wait about 5 hours to get into the rally. I had a Trump supporter tell me that Trump was sent here by God. Trump was sent by God to run this country. So he's not the only person saying that in regards to Steve Bannon, but in regards to President Trump running again for a 3rd term. Yeah, see Osby, appreciate the hat and mustache. President Trump himself is making statements on him running for a 3rd term as well.
And are there any plans for you to be able to run and potentially win a 3rd term in 2028? Is that something you may like to challenge for?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know. We have one of them standing right here. We have JD, obviously, the vice president is great. I think Marco's great. I think, I'm not sure if anybody would run against us. I think if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable. I really do. I believe that. I would love to do it. I had my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I had my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people.
So he didn't even rule out whether he would run again. And he stated also that I would love to do it. One of the things I take odds with when President Trump says, anytime he says he hasn't heard or something, as in this case, he says, I haven't thought about it, or he's usually not being honest with that. In my opinion, when Jim Comey got indicted, I hadn't heard about it. Same thing with Letitia James. I didn't hear about it. I didn't know about Project 2025. I haven't thought about running again. I'm just gonna tell you, he's lying. I don't know if he's gonna run again, but I damn sure feel confident he's thought about it. I mean, he says I haven't thought about it, and then he gives you everything that suggests he's been thinking about it. My poll numbers are great. I would love to do it. People, I mean, he's making it clear. I've heard everything. There's no way in hell he hasn't thought about it. And I'll tell you this, my humble opinion is that he will. And I'll tell you why. I believe that if President Trump serves out his second term, leaves office in January of 2029, when the next president is inaugurated, if he's still walking the earth, he'll spend the rest of his life dealing with court cases and things like that. They're going to find ways to come after either him or members of his family for things he's done. I mean, the guy himself stated he's not getting into heaven. Why the hell would he say something like that? So my guess is he would run for a third term partially on self-preservation. Look at how well it's worked for him getting reelected. If he didn't win this second term, he would probably be headed for incarceration. That's my opinion. You guys can let me know if you think I'm wrong. My beloved MAGA will likely think I'm full of shit for saying that. But my opinion is if President Trump had not gotten reelected and Biden or Kamala Harris became president, he would probably be facing incarceration of some sort. So it certainly was a measure of self-preservation to get reelected. And if he runs for a third term, it will be attempting that as well. Now, in the comments, Bobby K says he can't run for a third term. Why don't you tell him that? You notice in this response, one thing he didn't say is, I can't do it. You notice Steve Bannon is not saying he can't do it. If he cannot run for a third term, I would submit, why don't you tell him that? He's been asked about this many times. He never challenged. And many are concerned with her statement because it does indicate that there may be a way to challenge it and win. There may be a way, like you hear Steve Bannon, that he suggested that they would go after the amendment. I mean, he just said that right now. He didn't say you couldn't do it. He's talking about how you could do it. So there may be, they talked about if you serve 2 terms, but they're split, you don't know how they're going to challenge it. So don't feel confident it can't be done until you see how they present a case. There are ways you can challenge it. I personally believe that by the time Trump is done, 3 years, you're going to have a national abortion ban. I believe there's ways to challenge that. And the way I suggest, and I'll go back to the comments, by the way, tap the screen. We should be around 100,000. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to at least 90. Help your boy out with the hat mustache go. Thank you. I do believe the simple way to get a national abortion ban is to challenge it on the guys that if a criminal trying to steal a woman's purse or something like that happens to be pregnant, if he causes her to fall down or something like that and lose the life of her unborn baby, he can be charged with murder. Most people agree if somebody committing a crime takes out a pregnant mom, he should be charged with double murder for the mom and the life of the unborn. So if you're already allowing people to be charged with murder for taking the life of an unborn baby, why is the doctor able to get away with it? If it's a healthy, viable fetus or a viable embryo, and you're going to charge the criminal for taking his life unnecessarily, why is the doctor allowed to get away with it? I believe if you present that to the current courts we have, they'd agree. Meaning that the doctors that are in liberal states that are still allowed to terminate pregnancies would then be considered as committing an act of murder by the federal government. And that would mean that you can't terminate the life of the unborn anywhere. Because if, like I said, if you terminate the life of the unborn as a criminal, they're going to charge you with murder. Why is the doctor getting away with it? What part of the Hippocratic Oath involves taking the life of what might be a healthy baby? Now, there's a few instances, obviously, if the baby's not going to survive and things like that. But if it's just a healthy baby and she just doesn't want it, I believe you could easily convince the courts that that should be deemed as murder. And if the doctor is giving her something to kill that kid, treat him the same way you treat a criminal, I believe it would get by. I do believe that within 3 years, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Alter Ego, thank you. I do believe that over the next 3 years, there's going to be a challenge in effort to have a national abortion ban. Anyway, looking in the comments, one wants a baby, the other don't. That's the difference. Murder's murder. Doesn't matter. Murder's murder. I do believe that it will be challenged, and I think under the current course we have, the Trump administration will win that. Steve said he will be president at least 3 terms. Steve Bannon is saying it, and you notice Trump ain't criticizing Steve Bannon for saying it whatsoever. He's not saying anything about Steve Bannon constantly saying over and over again that he's going to be a 3rd president. Let me go back to the box. Marissa is spamming. Stop the spamming. If I see spamming, I don't like to block and ban people, but if I see spamming, we do have to stop that because you interfere with other people being able to speak. Going back to the box, trying so hard to push that dementia line on Trump. That line is so stupid, just can't fly no matter how many times you repeat it. What is you say that people are trying to suggest that Trump has dementia? He keeps a hell of a schedule. I don't know if I totally agree with that. The man keeps a hell of a schedule. James Sharp, good evening. We, the people, voted for him. That is true. Vincent Felsey, that is true. Men should shut the fuck up about abortion. Allow women to handle that unless you're the baby's daddy. I'm pro-choice, but I'm simply saying I think it will work if the Republicans try it. James, good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. You meditating? You getting a massage?
Yeah. Nah, that's it was my controller.
Okay, wow. Okay. All right. So what do you think? You think he's going to try to run for a 3rd term?
Oh, he's already got it planned to try. If not run for a 3rd term, he's going to try and pull something to say, oh, well, we can't have the election right now, and I still need to be in charge.
The Zelensky method, where, there's chaos going on or some kind of outburst, so we need to suspend the elections. You're talking about like that?
Yeah.
So why does MAGA continue suggesting he's just joking?
Because that's their usual excuse when they try to talk around him saying something crazy or something that was downright just disgusting.
Downright disgusting. So let me ask you, so far, you guys been in office, 9 months or so? How do you think he's doing so far? I always ask about the letter grade A, B, C, D, or F like we used to get in school. Only 9 months in, so less than a quarter of his term. But how do you F? Nothing good at all, huh?
Compare what we October 2024 or 2023 till now, and we're doing horrible in every category.
Border security,
he didn't. The only thing he did was make it so that anybody that even has Latin descent will be prosecuted. So people don't want to go nowhere near the border. Plus, with everything being as messed up as it is, no one wants to be here.
Well, people are, you're saying that people do not want to immigrate to America anymore right now under Trump?
It's way worse. Like if you look at people coming in the country, is way down, and not just with Hispanics. I'm talking about across the board. People coming into America, even for tourism, is all down.
Yeah, the Canadians have pretty much avoided us outright. But oddly enough, with so many folks suggesting that Trump's doing a shitty job like that, at least on the left, notice that MAGA for the most part is not straying. You don't hear a lot of complaining coming from MAGA. Look, I hear the farmers are not exactly happy with some of the tariffs, but they still seem to be in the
MAGA's complaining. Trust me, MAGA's complaining. The thing is, they don't want to admit they were wrong.
So you believe that life sucks for them? Go ahead.
The last guy that was on, he was talking about, everything's the Democrats' fault. That's their go-to. Like anything that's going bad is the Democrats' fault.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to go with what works. I mean, of course they're going to blame the Democrats. I mean, don't you think the Democrats would do the same to them, though?
No, the Democrats was actually more honest about it. Like when if Biden made a mistake, they would point out and say, "Hey, Biden is making a mistake."
Was the Democrats even honest about Biden's health?
Yes, that's why they forced him not to get reelected. They saw firsthand. It was like, no, you don't have it no more.
Yeah, but they waited 107 days before the election there, James. I mean, people were saying Biden was not there for a few years. I mean, it was only 107 days left to election day before he stepped down.
And that would be the people around him, just like the people around Trump is keeping them going, like diffusing everything. Talking about no, he's in good health. He's doing this. He's doing that. And we actually need an age limit on how long you can run for.
So do you see? Because one of my viewers was saying that Trump has dementia. Do you believe he's in mental decline?
He was like that around the 2020s. Remember when he was campaigning around 2020s? He's doing the same thing he's been doing for years. Can't make a coherent sentence. He's always rambling. Like, as soon as you start on one thing, he veers it to something completely different that was not even on the subject.
Yeah. He actually does kind of remind me of, you have an old grandfather or an old uncle that, you have to tell him that, Uncle, I've heard this story already, because he does do that a lot. I mean, even when it came to Charlie Kirk, I remember I was in a MAGA group and people were asking, because Trump, they were speaking live that day at the funeral. And somebody said, has Trump spoken yet? And one of the other MAGA viewers said, yeah, he did. And somebody said, what did he say? Like the same stuff. You already kind of know what he says. I mean, he does repeat the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. And not only that, everything he does, if it's a good thing, it's the best thing that's ever happened. And if it's a negative thing, and he plays a victim, and it's like no one's ever been persecuted as much as I have.
Yeah. But it's working though. Can you blame him for not, what they say, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it?
It's only working because MAGA is gullible.
What do you mean by MAGA being gullible? What are you trying to say? Gullible, huh?
Yes, look at every time somebody on the right does something. If they get called out for it, the first thing they're gonna say is the left is trying to persecute me, and the next thing you know, they got a GoFundMe or some kind of other kind of fundraiser, and they're just getting all this kind of money dumped onto them.
Damn.
That's why you see all these Z-class entertainers jumping on MAGA. So and every time they do that, and the Democrats and the libs get on them, what's the first thing that MAGA tries to do? Big them up to own the libs.
Well, they've done a good job at owning the libs. I mean, the libs are pissed. But I want to ask you. I want you to hear this. I want to get your take on this, because you're talking about Trump, but I want to get your opinion on this.
In your eye on politics, former Vice President Kamala Harris hinting she may run for president again. In an interview with the BBC, Ms. Harris said, quote, "I am not done." Ms. Harris also expressed confidence that America will see a woman in the Oval Office in the future. While Kamala Harris said she has not made a final decision, she says she still views herself as an active player in politics.
Kamala Harris again, what say you?
She could try, but she has to go about it from square one. She can't do it like she did last time, where she automatically got the nomination.
In other words, she got to earn her way. She got to earn her way.
And not only that, she has to actually put out what she's trying to do. Not that I got plans for this. No, you need to put out what your plans are and how you plan.
Are you saying that Kamala Harris needs to put out? You know that's going to be the butt of a lot of jokes. You say that Kamala Harris needs to put out.
What I'm saying is Kamala Harris needs to articulate her plans, which she did not do whatsoever. All it was when I get there, the rich is gonna pay their dues, and I'm gonna lower taxes. But just like Trump, neither one of them had an actual plan. The only thing was, because she was coming in from the incumbent party, and people weren't happy about where the economy was, she got more slack for it instead of Trump, where he never had a plan. Ever since his first term till now, he's never had a plan on how to do anything except get taxes and get his taxes lowered and friends like that, and that's about it.
Yet I still got many viewers, James, that are suggesting that Trump is one of the best presidents we've ever had. People are calling the man the GOAT.
That's because Trump bodies what what they weren't allowed to say. Like Trump is the embodiment of like the asshole nature of MAGA. That's why they call him the GOAT.
The embodiment of the asshole nature of MAGA. Wow. So I mean, okay, if not Kamala, does the Democratic Party have anybody on deck that could get the job done? I mean, some folks suggest that the Democrat Party is leaderless.
The leaders that they probably could have don't want the job.
Names?
Because Jamie Raskin, he's a no nonsense type of person, and he actually fights with people. Jared Moskowitz, he's no nonsense. Let's see. It can't be Hakeem Jeffries because he
takes the high road too much.
Yeah, he doesn't get down and dirty.
Right.
He doesn't fight like he's supposed to.
Well, hold on. But let me ask you though: if Trump is succeeded, let's say he doesn't run for a third term, and it's Vance or Marco Rubio, do you really need to get down in the mud if you're running against one of them? Because they're not gonna run like Trump. You're not gonna get the trolling every day and things like that.
Once Trump is gone, MAGA's done because they don't have anybody. Every one of the people around Trump, and Trump made it that way. He made it so that nobody around him can steal the spotlight from him. So everybody around him is a pushover. Wow.
So there is.
If you remember when Elon was running around doing things, once Elon's like started taking up the media presence and everybody was pointing at Elon saying like he's the man doing all this stuff. That's when Trump started like pushing back, like, no, I'm in charge. This is my thing.
So he's like a lead singer. He don't want the backup dancers getting too much attention.
He's that spoiled rich kid that has to be the center of attention.
Wow.
If anybody else looks like they're getting attention, he's going to go at them and cut that off. He did the same thing to DeSantis.
Yeah.
Remember when DeSantis was supposed to be like the next big thing for the Republicans, and he went after DeSantis was like,
well, wait. He went after DeSantis
and all of that.
He went after DeSantis because DeSantis was trying to take his spot. He wanted to run again, and DeSantis was running against him. DeSantis was an adversary.
Even when he lost, like this, it was even before then.
Was it?
Because remember, yeah, DeSantis for a long time, DeSantis was like, I'm not trying to run for president. I'm not trying to run for president. And Trump started attacking him. Then he's like, you know what? If you're going to attack me already, I'm going to go. I'm going to run for it.
Yeah. Good old Ron DeSanctimonious. Well, he's out of a governor's job coming to midterms. His time in Florida is over with. So I don't think he wants to be done in politics. So I don't know. But Ron DeSantis is no longer the rock star in the Republican Party like he was after the midterms in 2022, I think it was.
A lot of these guys is not going to be around. Like Cruz barely survived his last run-in.
Who was in Texas trying to run against? Because that Jasmine Crockett has indicated that if they gerrymander the vote so to threaten her congressional seat, she stated polling is showing that she would make a viable Democratic candidate for Senate down there. And I think she'd be going up against Cruz. Do you think she could beat Cruz?
I know she could beat Cruz.
Jasmine Crockett, huh? Wow.
Like, for one thing, like, the first thing that Cruz is going to do, he's going to avoid debating her. Because he can't talk over her like he does other people. And her points are too on topic, and she actually has plans for things that Cruz will not be able to get away from. Not to mention, he still has not made up for him abandoning the states, not once, but twice. So she's definitely going to jump on that.
But you think she could pull it off in a blood red state like Texas, Jasmine Crockett?
Well, the bad thing about what they did with this gerrymandering, they didn't put all these blood red safe zones. They didn't just put a lot of blue in there.
Yeah.
So you sitting there trying to get rid of the blue. Just because you gerrymander doesn't mean that you completely got rid of them. All you did was you made it so that you thought it was going to be more red, but putting that blue also, you pissing these people off because the people in Texas have been pissed off for a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. Jasmine Crockett in Texas. We were just talking about some guy being found under an overpass. I don't know. Jasmine Crockett, you know how they get out in Texas. I got to move it on, James. And look, I'm a fan of Jasmine. I like her. She's very feisty, but Texas, I don't know. I got to move it on, though, James. I appreciate you coming through.
All right, no problem.
Anytime. Looking in the comments, the ballroom is going to be cool, says Marshall. We'll see. Crockett, seriously? That's a joke, right? No, that is not a joke. Chris Giordano says, if you're a fan of homelessness, Newsom is your man. Well, if you're a fan of homelessness, America is your country. I mean, it ain't like you can leave. I mean, Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, Texas has a hell of a lot of homelessness too. Here's the way the right does this, and I don't favor this, is that when it comes to problems, the right looks for a blame the highest Democrat models. For instance, crime in Los Angeles, let's take Chicago, for instance, because Chicago comes up with crime all the time. Crime in Chicago, the right blames it on, of course, the mayor, but they also blame it on the actual governor of the state of California. When Biden and Obama was in office, they were also blaming the crime of Chicago on the president as well. However, when you look at conservative states, Memphis, high crime, New Orleans, high crime, they only blame the crime on the mayor. Suddenly, high crime in Houston doesn't get blamed on Governor Greg Abbott or President Trump. It only goes to the mayor of the city. But if for some reason Greg Abbott, the governor of Houston, became a Democrat, now he's also responsible for the crime in Houston. If the president becomes a liberal, now they're responsible for it too. But if they go conservative, then it goes all the way back to only the mayor being responsible. That's kind of, you don't hear the right blaming Republican governors for the high crime in their cities. No, that's the mayor's fault. No. So I do believe that the right is kind of picking and choosing on who to blame crime on, because if Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, is responsible for what's happening in Chicago, then Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, is responsible for what's happening in Houston and Dallas. Got to be fair about it, right? So and same thing with Ron DeSantis. High crime in Miami, Jacksonville, some of these cities, Orlando, then he's responsible for it. Fort Myers has a lot of crime. Tampa does too. They don't blame it like that. Looking in the comments, this motherfucker is still talking, says Sly. Slick, good evening, Sly. Slick, appreciate your input. It's about to come to a conclusion, Sly. So thank you for your input, though. Yep, he almost lost to Beto O'Rourke. Was that a close election there, Eric? Ted Cruz against, you damn right I'm going to take away your AR, Beto O'Rourke. Was that even close? I don't know. I don't remember. I will say that if there is an election between Ted Cruz and what is her name? Jasmine Crockett, the Trump effect does play a part. The Trump effect, because that's what they're going to be doing. The Trump effect is going to play a part in all these midterm elections, because the liberals are going to try to convince the folks that you're not voting against the conservative in your area. You're voting against Trump, because they are fueling the Trump machine. Obviously, Congress is doing little to nothing to interfere with the plans or the agenda of Trump on how he wants to run the country. So if you want to stick a blow to President Trump, you should not vote for this is what they're going to tell you. You should not vote for the Congress or senators that are running as Republicans, because they're letting him do this stuff unopposed. There is some legitimacy to that. Congress is not challenging President Trump. So that's what they're going to go with. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 92,000. I didn't get across the 100K mark. A lot of lazy fingers were in here. But thank you, folks, for tapping the screen. As always, it helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. We always remain MAGA friendly, nevertheless. If you enjoy uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, I'm going to ask that you take this time out to sub. If you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. If you happen to be watching on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, give your boy a follow. How many cameras do you own? A few. Says, who asked that question? Eden Star. We're currently live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, TikTok as well. So there you go. Why would the president's own party oppose him? Because they don't agree what he's doing. I mean, Joe Manchin opposed President Biden quite a bit. So did Christian Sinema. They were liberals because you don't like what he's doing. You're hearing Rand Paul oppose President Trump blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela. Just because just because somebody is a member of your party don't mean you have to agree with every fucking thing they do. You have constituents in your area that are under you, if you are a senator or if you are a congressperson. And if Trump is doing things that hurts your people in particular, you got to act on that. They voted for you. They want you to do what's in their best interest. If the president is not doing that, but he happens to be in the same party, you're supposed to speak up. Perfect example, farmers, due to President Trump's tariffs, due to President Trump's immigration policies, getting rid of a lot of their workers, farmers are hurting under President Trump. So if you are a representative and most of your community is a farming community and you're a Republican, you don't just turn a blind eye when what he's doing is hurting the people that voted for you. Otherwise, they're not going to vote for you come next time. So that's why you actually speak out against your own party. If your own party's not doing the right thing, there was a lot of people that spoke out against Biden in regards to the border and things like that. A lot of people spoke out against them. Unfortunately, there's not as many speaking out against Trump, even though they're admitting that some of those folks, their constituents are. Probably the difference is because Trump attacks you and takes revenge on you. Like Joe Manchin, his constant criticism of Biden, Senator Fetterman of Pennsylvania, his constant criticism of the Democratic Party, that wouldn't work under Trump. If you had a Republican acting like Joe Manchin or acting like Senator Fetterman under Trump, Trump would be attacking that person constantly. He would be all over that person. So that's probably why you don't have as much resistance on the right as you do on the left, is that they fear him coming after them. You didn't have to worry about that with Joe Biden. He wasn't going to come after you like that. So that makes a difference. Anyhow, like I said, I appreciate the 95,000. I do got to step away. Thank you folks for tuning in. We will be here tomorrow. Follow the program if you're watching on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. Give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Stay safe. Have a good night. Thank you folks on YouTube as well. And of course, I got to turn these things off, but thank you folks. I'm out.